How are we all doing, Skywatchers? We've got a clear night. Hopefully. There are a few clouds about, so we'll see how we get on. But until they roll in, we are looking out for the strange and anomalous, the weird and wonderful in the skies alive over Wiltshire here in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So again, a long history of weird and wonderful things in these skies, and yeah, whilst those clouds hold off, tonight should be no exception. Say hello, let us know where you're watching from. We've got Dan in and Bob back for a second night. Good to see you there. I warned you, so we're having people in now that have been in for over a year, pretty much every night, but it is very good to have you in. If you did say yesterday, say again, where were you joining us from tonight? Maybe I'll try and do my best to remember there. But yeah, we're looking out for all of these weird things in the sky. Got a few being tracked, like this. We need to see these objects here. Stop dead, shoot off at speed, change course or trajectory for us to know for sure if they are anomalous versus the many man-made satellites and things like that flying around in the night sky. Until they do that, we can't be sure 100% either way. So statistically, most likely a man-made object. Lachlan is in there, Amanda too, and Adam too there. I'm out as well. Good to see you guys, and Adam coming in with the gifts. Thank you for those. All goes back into the stream. Help us improve what we are doing here. But yeah, it's another Skywatch. There are clouds on the horizon, but they are moving, so hopefully it won't be too often tonight. But yeah, we'll see what we get going. This a big, bright, beautiful purple one here.
Zoom mode activated.
This is Vega. It's a star like our sun, just much bigger and much hotter, and it is 26 light years away. That's not far in space terms at all. This one over here, this one is Deneb. As the night moves on, that's going to get purple as well. That one is 2,600 light years away. I mean, and that again isn't necessarily that far really in the scheme of things. It's the other side of town in space. So quite local, a lot of these. Oh, hello, darling. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. I have a sweet tooth. Well, for what teeth I have left of me are there. And where are we? Down here. So no worries there, Bob. And Noel is in as well. Good to see you there. So yeah, let's see how we get on tonight. Oh, the first wisp of cloud is coming in. We're going to make use of the motorized head on this camera. But yes, do ask away any questions. Say hello as you're joining us. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight. And let's see what I can spot. There's no silly questions here at all, so we want to hear from you all. And Billy, how are you doing?
Nom nom nom.
Thank you for feeding Alan. Feed him. Exactly. Two fake lock, thank you for asking. Is Touchwood is okay, but another tooth fell out. So, can't win with my teeth. This is a nice big one here. Ooh, a little bit of colour to that one as well. Not necessarily anomalous, but worth zooming in on. Keep your eye. You don't rely on the tracker. Look at this one. What the hell is it going on there? Look, jump into there. Don't rely on it. But it is a good little indicator to tell us that if there is movement on the screen. So yeah, let's have a look. There's a faint one coming in there. Oh, it's really having a jazzy time. It will get affected even worse by the clouds. I can kind of set it off there. But see, just like this one, I wouldn't have noticed this one coming in. Look how faint that one is, barely visible, but it is there, so the tracker is actually good for that. Another faint one there, not being tracked at all. But yeah, very busy tonight, so it should be sorry, a good Skywatch for us. How is everybody's week going? God, it's only Monday already, isn't it? It's only one day into it there. Feeding him, keep him on his toes there. Alan's in as well. How are you doing? We're all good. It's Monday, but we've got somewhat clear skies, so we're going to make the most of this for as long as it is meant to be kind of like mostly clear, so I'm sure we'll get a few clouds wander through and then wander off again, but yeah, let's make the most of what is clear for as long as it is clear there, because it is very busy, and it's going to be a good night, I think, for it there. Even if we are fighting the clouds a touch, I think it is going to be a good one. Let's move the camera slightly. Let's get that cloud out of shot. Help if I turned the controller on, wouldn't it? Let's move that so it's going to circle the tracker. There we go. Let's ignore the cloud fully until we can. Right, let me reset the tracker so it realizes it's a new one. There we go. Yep, so if you're just joining us, guys, we are doing a live... Oh, no, it's really sulking now. Thinking stars are moving objects there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, if you're just joining us, we are doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch, coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK. right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a long history of the weird and wonderful, strange and anomalous in these skies. This little town had its own UFO flap here back in the old 60s and 70s there. It was a really interesting one I've never heard anywhere like it. So these skies are alive. Over the years as well, the more you look back into folklore and things, it does seem to be like the same phenomena, just described in different ways. So yeah, do help us spot. If you call out the grid number, so A2 for example, if you see something that we're not tracking or not paying enough attention to, that will trigger the box and we can have a look, and everybody on the stream can have a look as well there. Oh, Thursday, Amanda, I'm there on Wednesday. So we'll have to report back, see how it goes. Expensive is the guarantee for that one there. And the moon looks great again. Oh, look, I'm a little bit jealous. I can see it illuminating the clouds that we're getting at the bottom of the screen, but I can't actually see the moon itself. It's just too low on the horizon because our garden slopes up and there's a hill and there's some trees. So it's quite a frustrating one because I actually really want to do a bloody moon stream now. Now we've got this new tracker there. Are there any planets visible? Oh, good question. Probably is the answer to that, but not for us. So for us, it's going to be, I think they're a bit too low on the horizon. Maybe a bit later on, but we'll have to see how we get going there. Carl is in. How are you doing? And thank you for the gifts there, Carl. And for feeding Alan.
Nom, nom, nom. Thanks,
just coming
guys.
in time there. And J-Dog, thank you there, J-Dog. How are you doing? Alan told me if you feed him, he will possibly bring all his friends. No, we don't want him to bring all of his friends, Jesus. I've warned you guys how difficult Alan is, but yet you still go out there and get your own and welcome them into your homes, and yet they're always nothing but a pain there. Lee is in too, and Living Light feeding Alan there, and
Thanks,
Billy
guys.
there. Thank you guys for those. So TB as well. It all goes back into stream, helps improve on what we are doing. Where do we get to? We're all good there, Living Light, even though it's Monday. As long as these clouds aren't too bad, then we'll be all good. I'm glad to hear it there, Carl. Short Folk is in there. Watched it for 50 minutes already. That's in this day and age. Like, oh God, I think of what I'm like. I've got the attention span of a fish. Like, it's 30 seconds at a time. So really, it's good going there. Appreciate that. We all need an Alan. I've got plenty of Allans in my life, I tell you. Right there. And my opinion and Angel that coming in with the likes. Appreciate that, guys. It's the likes, the shares, the tapping away, all of that jazz that helps us reach more and more like-minded people there like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. You never know who's going to come in and what experience with the highly strange that they are going to share with us there. MRD is, but Mr. D there is back. How are you doing? Good to see you there. Hope you've been well. But yeah, looking out for the strange and anomalous, the weird and wonderful. We've had a couple of interesting ones recently that imply that they're a little bit lower down. They're within the Earth's atmosphere, not too high up there, not in orbit. And I still don't know what they are. Often we will see things that you go, oh, that's a head scratcher, and we just don't have any more information to collapse it down into a definite of what it could be that we're seeing. And Sir Paul is back in. How are you doing? And thank you for gifting a membership. Screaming, you got the gifted membership, so say thank you to Paul. But you'll be able to join us on our next deep dive. So it's not going to be this Friday, it'll be the Friday after, and we're currently looking into the MJ12 documents, all of the leaked reported documents that are meant to be associated with this shadowy organisation responsible since the late 40s, early 50s, all the secrecy, the reverse engineering, all of that stuff. It's really interesting going through it all. It's our UFO homework, and if that also sounds like a bit of you and you're not a member yet or anything, in bio we've got a link that gives you a month free, so you'll be able to just enjoy some of those ones previously with no commitment there. Thank you for that, Paul. Appreciated there. M to the C is in as well. And Roy, I believe I may have seen something out of the norm. At 4:09 this morning, the only way I could describe it as Christmas tree lights there, plain white, hanging vertical. Ooh, were they moving? Because that could be the clincher. Because the only thing that describes that actually displays like that to the human eye outside would be a moving Starlink. There is one up there at the minute, but depending where you are in the world, would it be visible? So the trick is, if that's a moving chain, that could be the Starlink. But if it's not, that is highly strange there, because not a lot of things act like that. It's quite hard for man-made stuff to do that. Oliver coming in with the follows. Where are you joining us from tonight? So do say hello. And Paul there.
Nom nom nom, thanks,
treating
guys.
Alan there. Thank you, Paul. Let me just close that one. Yeah, guys, if you're new here, say hello. Let us know where you're all joining us from tonight, where in the world, and if you've seen anything strange, we'd love to hear about that. We're also waiting for the action to happen on screen. But this is our live UFO, UAP, Skywatch, so make sure also you're following us, or subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're on pretty much every night. Clear nights, it's the UFO, UAP, Skywatch, right from the heart of Crop Circle Country. Cloudy nights, we do an alien radio signal hunt, which is where we listen on the hydrogen line. That is the channel on the radio dial file that scientists theorise the defeatees out there. It's where they'd put the message. It's where the wow signal was heard, and we're also currently pointing to the same patch of sky, the same star clusters, where the wow signal was detected, and also when the moon is up, and we're itching to do another one of them hopefully soon. It looks like that. We look for strange things on, off, and around the moon, and we've seen them as well. You should get those notifications when we go live. It's an interesting one, Roy. Thank you for sharing that one. And Billy, oh, my telescope has no pointer scope, so I'm struggling with it. Anyone got any tips? See, this is the thing. Yeah, don't you need a little one to kind of get the rough area, and then you've got the zoom in? I haven't at the minute, but maybe somebody in the chat will. Penguins, how are you doing? Good to see you again there. John coming in, thank you for the follow. Where are you in from tonight? Sadly, tubers, it doesn't tell me when you guys subscribe, so I can't say hello. You have to do it manually. Let us know where you're watching from there. And what's the thoughts on the Strange New World puppets? Oh, as in political leader puppets? What's that? Thoughts on Strange New Worlds? Oh, Strange New Worlds puppets, sorry. The TV show, isn't it? Star Trek Strange New World puppet episode. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'll have to ask Leanne on that one. The Strange New World, Star Trek, there's a puppet episode. Have you seen that one yet?
Yeah,
there is. Apparently there's like, I've seen some headlines popping up about, I don't know, there's some, not controversy, but it's like, what does it mean? Is it an allegory for something else? And if you've seen anything like that?
I can't remember.
Yeah, you rely on having one Trekkie in the house, and doesn't go to plan, does it there? Liberty, how are we doing tonight? Mr. D, I just saw almost 12 lights moving across the sky above me there, thinking they were satellites. If they're in a train, in a line, could be Starlink. There was one, I think, launched yesterday, so it could be for that, but always phenomenal to see. Chris is in as well. Good evening. How are you there? Is Kate in? Did I see a Kate in there? How are you? Oh yeah, there we go. There's Kate. How are we doing there? Debster is in as well there. Is that a Sarah as well? Welcome aboard. Where are you joining us from tonight? Astrid. I'm new. Astrid, I feel like you've been in before. From California. Maybe somebody else with a very similar name. Very welcome in there. How are the skies of California? You know, all of the states that we get from over your way across the pond, California is got to be the rarest. And I thought, you know, a really big population there would get quite a lot. Interesting UFO stories over your way. Have you ever seen anything strange in those wonderfully warm Californian skies? I'd love to hear about that. Coming in from Denmark, love it there. Oh yes, seen over West Clacton. Constantly on the move, so that could be a Starlink. If they're very close together, like the dots like that, could be, because they release them like in a big, they just push them out of the spaceship basically when they get up there all together, and they rely on, as they're, you know, going around in that circular orbit, they slowly separate out and get quite far apart. So that will keep coming round. They'll be further and further and further and further apart if it is Starlink. It's hard to say because it's a very anomalous shape, isn't it there? Private Tomcat, how are you doing there? Penguin is in over from the US as well. And do you believe this is how any UFOs captured from before are available to see? Ooh, so available to see. Not jumping to my mind. I think that's probably they would keep them all very, very locked away. I think that's part of the problem at the minute. So I do think there's a good chance that there are some recovered craft hidden away, probably under lock and key in the desert somewhere. Lee, oh, you got it, excellent. Oh, I'm so glad there, Lee. Hey, if it's your sort of thing and you're on the Discord, post a picture of yourself and it would love to see it over there too. Appreciate your support there, Lee. It's very, very kind. I'm in my main logo one tonight. Always in there. If you do choose to you know, support us in that way, link in bio. They've got a range of ones. We've got our Skywatch on. Let's see that circles through. There's just the hats. There we go. That's the one I'm wearing tonight. I love the designs. There's our Skywatcher, and we've got our Signal Hunter one there as well. But if you do choose to do that, post a picture of yourself in it on our merch showcase section on the Discord, and we can bring you up on the stream, see you in all your glory. And then if you go around the world on your holidays, we want to see you in it everywhere across the globe there. Fip as well, how are we doing? Welcome aboard for that. Where are you joining us from? And Billy, yeah, I've got a literal children's scope. Honestly, Billy, if it could still be a good starter one. So, you know, never. We always set our bar quite too high. I know I do it all the time. I end up tripping myself up because I'm just not ready yet. So that could be a great place to start. You know, just got to get out there and got to figure it out there. So you're doing well with that. SP, anything last night? Ooh, Oh, you know what? I've totally forgotten everything that happened last night. Did we see anything last night? You guys will remember that one. And Amanda, thank you for gifting a membership. That's very, very kind of you there. Who got that one? Gaza, you got that one. Hey, so you'll be able to join us for our next deep dive. Do appreciate that one, all of the support there. So it all goes back into the stream, help us improve what we're doing. At the minute, we're saving up to take the show on the road more often, and we're surprisingly close now. All the kits, we can do live Skywatches from all of these UFO hotspots around the UK. We'll kick things off with Rendlesham Forest, hopefully in October for that one. But it shouldn't be too hard for us to do Sizewell. So Sizewell is a nuclear power station here in the UK, and we know that the phenomena has a lot of connection activity around nuclear sites, whether it's weapons, mining, minerals research, or energy. In fact, some friends of mine at work who are very UFO skeptic, they were camping near, I don't think it was Sizewell, another nuclear plant, and they had a night vision scope and they were messing around, very cynical of the UFO stuff, but they saw something very fast moving, and it's, you know, when you see somebody who's skeptical that changes and they're kind of justifying it to themselves, the similar thing like that, it's really cool. So that should be an easily accessible one for us there as a general, not part of the tour, but as a general one there. But yeah, Patreons and members, you'll be able to check us on next deep dive. So it should be not this Friday coming, the one after, and we're still looking into the Majestic 12 documents, which are these documents that have been leaked and claimed to be official, messages, letters to people around the phenomenon, around the secrecy of it. Very interesting doing our UFO homework there, so we appreciate that. And Ra, seen anything today there? Not yet. We've only just been on 15 minutes there, so the night is still young. As long as these clouds aren't too bad, we should still see lots of activity. As keep your eyes moving on the screen. Look, we got some movement over here.
Film mode activated.
Don't rely on the tracker, but it's lots of objects like this. We need to see them slow down, stop dead, shoot off at speed, change course or trajectory. That'll tell us for sure if they are anomalous or not. Until then, we don't have the information to say if they are at all or not. And Vicky is in there. We're all good. Yeah, I'm all, well, half of a two. Now we're all good. We're all good. I've got to be more positive. I can't keep coming in and moaning. I've not got really anything to moan about other than minor inconveniences. So we're all good. We'll see how long that lasts, shall we? Gaza, how are you doing there too? And Astrid, we get some weird stuff here. Oh, there are some cracking stories from, California way. So the Battle of LA is one that really, really sticks out for me. But you've got Vandenberg Air Force Base now there, and there are so many bits of evidence. There's not just accounts, personal experiences, but there's videos that have come out there from back when they were testing missiles and things that seem to show very weird things interacting with the missiles that they were testing. But it's a bit of there is a real, especially up in the mountains, I get the feeling anyway from being over here, that there is a big spiritual part of it. There's just certain places in the world, if you want to go to certain parts like Glastonbury, you've got that link there. There are parts of California, it's a big, big place, that kind of have a similar feeling to me. Anyway, Rio, how are we doing there? It's back again. So now that is interesting, because you'll be able to check if that is Starlink in your area right now. Because that's on a regular orbit, you'll be able to Google that if right now, with the time that you're seeing it, if that is. And if it's not, that is very, very anomalous there. Very anomalous there. X, how are we doing? Thank you for the gifts there. And Carlos from Portugal, very jealous of your skies. Lovely and clear and bright there. Have you seen anything strange in them, Carlos? Good to have you in there. I'll admit for the previous streams. Hi, good question. So we have, last night, I cannot remember, my brain's gone dead. Look at what alignment, it's trying to figure an average out, and it's totally got that one wrong, Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, we've had some interesting ones recently. I think last week was quite fruitful. A lot of things that were closer, like within the Earth's atmosphere, that we haven't seen before. Rick Dangerous, I love that name. How are you tonight there? Always dangerous. You're inside at night, you've got sunglasses on. That's how dangerous it is. I love it. And that's by myself watching the sky whilst listening to you guys. That's the perfect way to do it. Eyes on the sky. You got a reporter on the ground there, Mr. D. You got to let us know if anything comes up for you there. That was a good point, Carl. I totally forgot about that. Yes, we did have an issue with TikTok. Well, to be fair, for once, it wasn't TikTok's issue, I don't think. I think it was a local internet thing. And then, so we had to kind of pick one. And yeah, you guys lost out on that one, TikTokers. But hopefully, it will stay stable for tonight and we can reach you all there. And Carl coming in.
Nom nom nom.
Feeding
Thanks,
Alan.
guys.
There, Mango's back. How are you doing, Mango? And SS there, what's the point? Aliens control the world. Well, do they? I mean, never know. Maybe they do. There are lots of people that talk about this sort of thing. Maybe they're interfering, puppet masters, influencing us. And look, we're less conscious than we like to think we are. A lot of what we do, a lot of what we think, a lot of our actions that we take, a lot of what we believe is still emotional. Very, same as animal equals hungry, going to go eat something, potentially something else that's living. We're still quite close to that ourselves. So it wouldn't be hard, would it, for a big species up there to do something like that. But I don't think it's definite, so it's definitely worth a look there. And Rio, we're all good. How are you doing there? And Liberty, I saw inside of my eyelids most of last night. If you need to rest, you need to rest. There, I was trying to think of, okay, was that some sort of surgical procedure? I was like, oh, you're reminding me of some surgery I had done once there. And what is the red star in D1/D2? Chris Eagle Eyes, there's that, sadly, is a symbol of my poverty. That is a dead pixel on the camera. We've got a couple of them. That's the worst offender, but there's one in the middle somewhere. The clouds are balancing out, and there's one over here as well. One day we'll upgrade that one. Where are we as well? And Joseph, how are you doing? Good to see you there. Rick, loving the emojis there, very on brand. Dave, welcome aboard. Where are you joining us from tonight? Do say hello. And Emerald in there. How are we doing that? I saw 2 shooting stars together at the same time. Now that is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen that. We catch a lot of shooting stars and they are phenomenal to see on the screen, especially when you get those. You got to check out some of our clips, guys, either on the main TikTok page or our YouTube short section. Like some of the times we just get, they just like a line just fades in very quickly on the screen because they're going so fast. Just this bright green line, absolutely stunning to see. I've never, don't think, seen 2 together though. That is pretty cool. And hello from Glasgow, this is Greg. Great clear night sky tonight there. That's 2 nights in a row. Oh, that's your yearly allocation for Glasgow. Going to make the most of it there. Yeah, we're fighting the clouds a little bit tonight, but there are gaps in between them. The clouds aren't as pretty, obviously, to look at, but it doesn't necessarily prevent us from doing Skywatch. Obviously, if they're solid thick, then yeah, but you can still see movement behind them, especially if they're kind of like this middle section here. And also, it can help us because if we see an object moving through and it interacts with the cloud, that gives us an altitude, and therefore that altitude then tells us what its capabilities are based on what human technology there is and how that it moves and interacts. And we have seen it once before, and it was very, very strange. We normally just don't bother getting the camera out though when it is cloudy, but it is moving very slowly, but it will be, I think, a bit of cloud and a bit of clear skies. We'll move the camera around in a minute. In fact, sod it, let's turn the tracker off. And Lethal, how are we doing tonight? Coming in with the shares there. Guys, it is the likes of the shares, the tapping away, no, wrong way, Sam. All of that sort of jazz there that really does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. You never know who's going to come in and what experience that they are going to share. Matchsticks on your eyes there, Paul Hughes. How you doing, Pancake? Good to see you there. And Jolly's in the house there. What's that? All in the chat, Red Star. Do you calc the distance? And it's claimed location. That one's not a star though, Jolly. That one is just a dead pixel, sadly, there. And Chris, I posted the pics of me getting the shirt on the Discord. Perfect. So it may have, let's run it through. So it normally does it in the afternoons. It refreshes itself. So it depends what time they went up. But let me actually refresh it and see if we can just see if it has caught you today. You're going to watch, there's Paul. Watch everybody go for a second time. But let's see if we can catch you all. Marcus there as well. A up. Where are we? Have we got any new ones? Are you going to cycle through? Going to cycle through. Come on. I don't think it's picked you up today, but tomorrow it will come through. Let's just go around. No, it's going back to Paul there. We'll have to wait for tomorrow for that one. Now, Caroline, how are we doing there? The cloud is UK shapes on that one. I'm no good at spotting those patterns in it. Day-to-day life, I'm good at pattern recognition, but for something with the clouds, you guys always see better things than me there. And do we ever think disclosure / confirmation will ever come? Penguin, that's a really interesting one. I used to think disclosure would be, President, White House lawn, big spaceship next to him going, yeah, it's all true, sorry guys, we lied to you. But I think that might be part of the process, but I'm starting to think that disclosure itself is more like international waters. It's kind of this, there's no actual boundary. It is just a rough measurement off of the coastline. It's roughly around here is our line. And I think it's going to be more that just more is going to come out, and slowly that needle of belief is going to turn to the vast majority of people who are going to believe some sort of thing there. And I think it's going to be a slow burn like that. And you know what? That is more stable. We don't get the haha, we told you so moment, which I think I would personally very much love. But I think that's more than likely how it's going to go there. But we may get some sort of more official recognition. We have had some. So we've now had it officially recognised by the US government. that the phenomena is real. Not saying that they know what the phenomena is, but there is something going on. The White House have, officially put out this stuff. They've put out the messages. The way that they're talking about it, that is a big change. That is a really, really, really big step. It's not the Roswell bodies, but it is still a massive, massive step there. And we have the moon eclipse on the 27th there, who's staying up till 5 a.m. So I was looking at this, and I think the position of the moon for the lunar eclipse there is going to be too low for me. So I'm very frustrated by that. I'm going to double check, but because I would love to catch it there. And Dave there, can you explain everything you see? So, not everything. A lot of the things that we see are, they're not giving us much data. So, can I pick one of these before it goes behind a cloud? Like, take this object here. We are seeing light being reflected off an object up there in orbit. Now, that is literally all that we can say about that one until it displays anomalous behaviour. If it stops dead, shoots off at speed, changes course or trajectory, that can't be shooting stars, can't be anything organic that we're aware of, meteorites, things like that. It can't be a man-made satellite. They just don't and can't move like that at those sorts of altitudes. So, yeah, we're seeing things that we just can't explain. Now, there's degrees of can't explain. There is that behaviour is just, yes, a slam dunk. This is weird. This is strange. But unless it does that, we're left with, well, it's probably just a man-made satellite, but it doesn't mean necessarily is. If you think about it, ET flying around up there from A to B is going to look very similar. Straight line, not much to avoid, consistent speed. Again, doesn't need any variation to jump out the way of anything. So most of the time they're going to look very similar. We're waiting for that rare occasion where ET, on his way from A to B, stops dead, goes, oh shit, I left my keys at home, and does the interstellar handbrake turn over the camera. So it's quite difficult, but we do see those anomalies. There are degrees. That movement said is the top tier one. There's no arguing with that. We see it, but then there is also, Jesus, should you put on there? Close my door. Sorry, guys. There's a ghost up there. Yeah, but then we see these things like we call them one-offs, which we don't know what they are. You all right? Because your shows were very loud.
Oh, I'm getting on.
Okay.
I don't fall.
Huh? Okay.
I just step out.
Okay.
Just cage in front of the girls' house and we can just walk across.
Okay. Okay.
There's a door to downstairs as well.
Okay. All right. Yes. So. What? Thank you. There you go. Vicky as well. Sorry.
Nom nom nom.
Feeding
Thanks, guys.
Alan there. So yeah, there are degrees. These one-offs that we see every now and again, they're pretty interesting. No idea a lot they are, but they don't necessarily display that movement, so we can't fully rule out human-made stuff there. Certainly been ramping up. Definitely on an official front. There as well. And where do we get to in that case? Is anyone else having issues with the picture flickering? So your browser. Oh, I'm not seeing anything on this end, but let me know if you guys are having that one as well. It seems to be okay. Touchwood here. And Mango, happy to have you here as well, Mango. Where are we down there? Lethal is in there too. A symbol of your poverty sounds better than a dead pixel. I prefer it's poetic, there. Gulf Coast, Florida. Oh, lots of activity over your way there, Dave. Have you ever seen anything strange yourself? I'd love to hear about that. So love the channel now. It can. Then Milan, then Cyprus. We'll follow you. You know what? We got these crazy ambitions for things we want to do, and we're a long way off. I mean, I'll be happy we can do our UK tour, which is we're getting very close to do. But you can imagine ultimately there are so many places internationally that it would be absolutely awesome to watch the sky and seeing what is there. All the historic places that are important to us there. So one day, guys, hopefully we'll be able to do that one there. And how they're jealous of the clear sky, nothing but clouds. You jinxed us now, way up. How are you feeling today? They are due to be clear patches, so hopefully it's going to be clear for us there. And Liberty, I have to have operation soon. Oh, I need 3 discs. Oh, cut down. That is. Oh, how long are you going to be laid up with that? Oh, that's a big one. There, Liberty, wishing you best for that. Adam as well, coming in with the shares. Thank you for that one there. And it does seem to be ramping up there. Maybe a distraction. That is a possibility. I mean, we always have to have that in the back of our mind, don't we? What they warned us with Project Bluebeam. And we know what governments are like. If they did have another foe that they could use as an excuse, they would. So we do have to be a little bit conscious, even if it is what we think we want to hear. Let me move that around. No, wrong way. I'm going to remember this one at some point. Come on. There's a tree right there. I'm trying to get that gap a little bit more in shot. But Yes, we have to be conscious, I think, of these. But it does feel like the phenomenon's wrapping up. There's something going on. Now, a part of that is going to be that we are ever more increasingly connected, aren't we? Able to do streams like this, like hang out with you guys. This wasn't possible not even that long ago there. So we're more chance to see what might always be going on. I often think this when we look at the political landscape here, and we're not diving into the specifics of politics, but it looks like we live in a much more corrupt and hideous world with all of these people in charge. Do we think that's the case, or do we think we're just seeing it now because of modern technology? So that's what I think. They've always been this corrupt, and maybe the skies have always been this busy, just we are able to share what we're seeing to a degree. But saying that, it does feel like there is a little bit more activity, even with that into account there. Angels, the shining ones. So, Jolly, is there a biblical component to the Earth based, your flat Earth sort of area there? Is that something that ties in with it as well with you, or is that not the same thing? Anybody know of a job I can do from home, Amanda? I've had the same thought today. I've had the same thought there. Oh, we had to give it. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that one as well. Oh, I'll have a think. It's difficult in this bloody day and age, because I said literally I was thinking about that one today. You know, there's a few little how secure is all of this comes up. So yeah, I know what you mean with that one. And Emal, how are you doing? I'm the sun. Good to have you in there, Emal. How are you doing today? There. Need to go to Specsavers. I've been to Specsavers. I turned out it was Boots. And disclosure is understanding who I was here before the younger Trias. Ooh, well, that might be part of it. The more we look, the more all of this stuff is tied in together, isn't it? There, like the wider paranormal, but also the ancient history. And what is the unifying theme of all of this? Well, our rigid structures of understanding around all of these domains are just too limited. I think that is the key takeaway here. That is the unifying factor, is that we have such a simplified understanding of our past, you know, of life itself, of consciousness, of the universe, the reality of it there, that there are plenty of things that are just not explained by it. So I think the unifying factor is just our ability to blindly follow overly simplified understandings of these things, because yeah, like, I mean, the very least the phenomenon looks like it's been going on a long time. Has there been contact with those civilizations? Did they get involved? Did they assist them with things? Did they pass on knowledge? Are we their experiment? There's so many variations on what, you know, could be at play to various degrees with it there. It's a very good point. And most people at work at home are planned to be replaced with AI. Well, technically some, but it's not quite that thing with AI. AI is something I think is going to come for us all at some point if it keeps getting you know, more and more advanced there. But you know, it did look like for a while, didn't it? It was the physical trades, you know, because there isn't just easily accessible robot bodies out there. It would be too complex for them to do it. But that's developing soon as well, isn't it? So Mondays are the worst for being knackered. Straight back into it. I agree there. It's the 28th and 27th. So I think it's the morning of the 28th, I think, isn't it, Dan? So it's like 5 a.m. on the 28th, I think, there. So we're staying up there around. Mason is in. Watched the last episode of Skinwalker Ranch there, season 7 earlier. And oh my God, I can't wait for the next season. I do need to just get into that, I think. I really think I do there. And Queen, how are you doing? Thank you for the gifts, appreciate that one, and thank you for the follow there. Where are you joining us from tonight? Adam coming in with the shares there, guys. It's the likes, the shares, the tapping away, all that jazz. It helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves, and the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. Let's spin ourselves around and see if there's a better patch of sky. That's still a bit speckly. Hold on, guys. Let's spin it all the way around. You're going to get seasick. Well, it's always getting really thick over here, isn't it? Hold on. Is it thinning out again? Oh, that's good. I think it's thinning out. Or is it moving that way? It might be moving that way. Hold on. Let's look right into the eye of the storm. Let's get into the middle. And let's go down. Let's have a look. What's it looking like on the horizon there? Oh, yeah. It's not... Fuck it. Let's go up for here. Hopefully I mean, we can still see through this. We can still see some movement through there. Let's see if the tracker can handle it tonight. I love having that new toy. Christopher as well, coming in with the gifts. Thank you for that, guys. The gifts, the subs, the merch, the members, all that stuff. Patreon all goes back into the stream, helping us improve what we're doing there. And There's a point, it's Monday, and there's no glasses. Yeah, I'm too lazy to go in the office tomorrow, so I've not bothered shaving. Although, I should really. Oh, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Boss is off, it's fine. Glad to hear it there, Mason. And Chris, I do believe we are being very closely watched by other intelligent life until we are on the precipice, and then they'll make themselves known. It could well be a part of it there. Carl coming in with the gifts too, thank you. So there could be many reasons for that. You know, is it an anthropological sort of monitoring things, like how we monitor, you know, those uncontacted tribes? You know, we're curious from a distance. What do they get up to on their own devices? How we do this with animals, don't we? We do it with zoo animals, do it with wild animals there. Does that explain their hands of nature? Are they the parent in the room? You know, are they just keeping an eye on us? And if we do ever go to make a mistake where we wouldn't be able to come back from that all-out nuclear war, maybe that's when they stop in. Maybe that's why we haven't managed to destroy ourselves yet, because there does seem to be a bit of a paradox. On one hand, we feel like the most irresponsible, crazy monkeys, don't we, flying with these nuclear weapons. We can't be trusted, but we haven't blown ourselves up yet in 80 odd years of having that technology. Maybe it's because of them. There are reports, definitely many reports of them interfering directly with those missiles, not just within the silos, but when they're in storage as well, the bombs. Maybe. Where are we there? Dawdle is in the house. How are we doing tonight? And of the rumen alien races, which one do you think more than likely exists? So my train of thought on here is, I go back to first principles with a lot of this. You know, where do we know a big rule working elsewhere? That's an indicator that it could be what's at play somewhere else if you don't have the details. So I look to life on Earth and I go, right, this is a case study we've got. Looks like a pretty habitable place, life left unattended. Boom, all sorts of species, creatures, organisms everywhere, all very, very different, all trying to do different things, evolutionary speaking. So I think by default the universe will probably be like that. So there'll be a wide range there, but the ones that are visiting us here, so I wouldn't rule anything out because I don't have access to information to make any sort of informed decision there. But what I would rule in as being more likely are, I mean, there is so much that we hear about from the Greys. It's going to be a cultural aspect to this, but I just think the sheer amount really points to there being something along those lines. So that is something that I lean towards. Oh, we lost that one behind the trees, behind the clouds. So that's a strong one there. And maybe plasma-based life forms there, the plasmoids. They're the ones that I'd go immediately off the cuff with, because just the sheer quantity of that. We're all good, Mal. How about yourself? Good to have you in again. And Roy, whatever you want to call it, it's on the move. Hey, look at the behaviour, Roy. If it stops, if it changes course or trajectory, that immediately makes it anomalous. But it's fantastic to see. We've had them over on screen, and they're always awesome to see there. Anyone seen the humanoid World Cup? It looks mental. Oh my God, no. What weird design student got the commission for that? I've got mental images there. The Olympics. Either way. And is it Psychic Master there? How are we doing there? I've seen some angels there. They were better than Man United. And all described perfectly in the Book of Enoch. So you follow that one as well. So there is the biblical connotation. Interesting. I like that. Carl there coming in with the gifts. Thank you for those. And Gaza feeding Alan.
Nom. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for that. Elohim have done it. Shall return. Why do I know that name? Is that Book of Enoch one as well? There. Nothing new under the sun. Hey, I can go with that to it. DJ Brandon Fugel and Omnitique set up dedicated satellite passes via SpaceX payload to map the Mesa from orbit. They're using satellite SAR, satellite aperture radar, and thermal scans to bypass the ground GPS. Oh, now that, God, how expensive would that have been? That is interesting there. But thank God to SpaceX allowing it being very cheap now. I'll say very cheap, a lot cheaper than it was to orbit there. Drilling again in Series 8. See, that is the thing. If it was me, be straight into that hill. Straight into it. No sodding around with core drilling. I'll be blowing it up there. I say that. I wouldn't.
Nom.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Ayup,
guys.
there for feeding Alan. Carl as well coming in with the extra gifts. Appreciated. And Super, how are we there? Also, consider contacts made further back in Earth's time, like 30-ish million years ago in the Oligocene, sorry, I can't pronounce. Even long before. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan. Coming into the UFO phenomena, I, basically took this as, aliens from extraterrestrial planets coming and crashing in the desert. Let's move this around a little bit more of a gap over here. And that is so one small part of what could be going on here. So firstly, you look back throughout time, and whatever it is we're seeing now looks like it has been seen throughout the time, reported differently, understood and interpreted differently for all those different cultures. But even if we go back, I mean, I've not even really thought about this, but you go back that long a time scale, well before, I think even us are more bullish on the human timeline, well before humanity there, you know, were they here? Is their base planet? You know, has the experiment for them been running a long time? I'm a big fan of something like that one. Super. Is there anything that would, like in the record, geologic record there, that could imply that being the case? Is there any little tantalizing hints that it might be a little bit more interesting? A scan to depth of 3 meters underground. So that's, yeah, very similar, isn't it, to the pyramid stuff? I mean, it's, well, say similar. It's actually, it is and it isn't. It's part of what they were using on the pyramid scans, wasn't it, recently? So that's going to be interesting. Have they got the results of that? Did they show what the results were there? I know, it's Monday's there. I've seen it at UAPs to UFO around 2004. Oh, psychic. I'd love to hear more about that if you want to share it. We've seen lots of strange moving lights. I mean, by strange moving lights, not necessarily like this. So we're going to see lots of ones like this tonight. And until it stops dead, shoots off at speed, changes course or trajectory, then we know it'll be something a little bit more stranger than a man-made satellite. But until then, statistically, it is most likely just that, a man-made satellite. Oh, got too much noise for the tracker, so I'll turn that one off tonight until those clouds pass. But yeah, that's what we need to see. So we're seeing things like this do very strange things, but not seeing the craft itself, not seeing the outline of the saucer or something like that. And Mr. X there, just a reminder, Warminster annual Skywatch at Cradle Hall, 8 p.m. this Saturday. Hopefully no rain. Fingers crossed. Oh god, yeah, the weather's looking crap, isn't it now? But yeah, I'll be there. So hopefully going to get to meet a few of you guys, but also the old school Skywatchers. I'm looking forward to that one very much, even if it is a bit drizzly. That'll be more than fine for me. Project literally watched it turn into an angel on the live feed, then removed it. Interesting. I'll have to see that footage, Charlie. Star stands for, oh, synthetic aperture radar. Excellent there, Lethal. And a little cloudy today, sadly, Oliver. Yeah, it was lovely and clear earlier. It is meant to clear up. These clouds are just patchy, but it's moving quite slowly, so we'll have to see how we get on there. If you're in the US, it's the it's the 27th. UK is the 28th. And interesting limit. Thank you for the heads up there for the lunar eclipse there. You're wearing your tour t-shirt, Amanda. I love it. I've got a tour t-shirt around here as well. I don't wear that one as much. Oh, so this is our tour t-shirt, guys. So we're planning on doing a UK UFO hotspot tour. So you've got all the places in the UK with all the cryptids and the UFOs that they're known for, and on the back you've got all of the locations. So it's Scotland is Loch Ness, Calvine, Declan Law, and Bonnybridge, the Falkirk Triangle. Up north, Ilkley Moor, Pendle Hill, Todmorden. Midlands and Wales is Cannock Chase, the Berwyn Mountains, Broadhaven. South, Rendlesham Forest, Clee Hill, and Bodmin Moor. I mean, we've already got a few more that we want to add to that already, but yeah, we are so close. Need to actually order the Starlink, and the next thing is we need the battery to run the Starlink. I think that's like the main barrier. The second, so it's going to happen. We are so close. Very excited for it there. And Chrissy, what's ball? What's ball there? We don't mind a little bit of a counter argument here. You don't have to be a believer, but you've got to explain it. Marcus coming in with the sent a treasure box. Thank you, Marcus, for that. Guys, do say thank you to Marcus when you collect those coins. And synthetic aperture radar is an active remote sensing technology mounted on satellites or aircraft. Creates high resolution 2D or 3D images of the Earth's surface using radio waves instead of using a light. Interesting. I like that one. I mean, normal radar, doesn't it, uses radio waves for that technology, but I've heard the SAR stuff. Yeah, that's interesting to me. SAR is well established. And Chrissy, we are the aliens. Well, that is, I think, very plausible. I don't think there is enough evidence to collapse any part of the phenomena down to anything confidently. Not from our position here on the outside. Now, if you personally have had a visitation or something a little bit more connected, I can totally understand it from the point there. But yeah, I don't think so. And I also don't think it's going to be one simple thing. But do I think life started here on Earth? It's one of the few things that I will say most likely no. Most likely no. So to some degree, I do think we're the aliens. I don't know to what there, but what we do know is that life, I said what we know, there's been some interesting papers recently that have done the maths on development of, complex life. So from, you know, single cell to multicellular life all the way up to us, and they timed it basically. If our understanding of evolution is correct, how long would that take? And we haven't had enough time here on Earth. So at the very least, I think, yeah, microbial, like we've come from somewhere else. But maybe it's a little bit more advanced than that. And Mars itself, you know, we were 2 billion years short for that development, from that paper. And Mars has been habitable on Earth like for 2 billion years before the Earth was. So I think there's a good argument to be made that in some way, shape or form, with the aliens in that sense, the Hawkwind album. And Locke need to get on as well. Well, what I think we might do with the tour one, we'll update it once we've been to each place. We might like cross off the one on the back there. Satellites in space. I think so. Standamol is wrong there, and we are in a special region of the universe, in a void that makes life possible. Chrissy, it's a possibility. Like, I think that's really, really plausible. I wouldn't necessarily think, though, look, I can't say no, but I really don't ever like that we're special, and it might be the case. It might be the case. There are interesting things like the nature of our star, the position that it is in the galaxy, literally as you're talking about, you know, our position within the universe, our moon, all of these things could be random chance, or, you know, and, you know, could mean that we are special and that life here isn't there. So you can't write it off. I don't think it's silly to think either. But I just think with the sheer numbers of the universe involved, like, why there has to be really, really, really good evidence for us to think that we are special within that. I think that, you know, look to how abundant life here, you know, so in the right conditions, life just happens. So the things that we do know is that life started on Earth far before scientists thought that it could. So going back to that initial model of life basically forming from a primordial soup, a happen chance of chemicals and temperatures and all this sort of shit, that now is out of the window, because life, you know, is now traced back to, they didn't even think the Earth had cooled down enough. So whatever it is that causes that life, whether it is a panspermia transfer of life from A to B, or whether it is a weird number of chemicals, that ain't rare, because it happened too quick for that. That, I think, is very, very well established there. But you look at the geologic record of how habitable Earth has been, and it's kind of like, if I leave a glass of, like, you know, tea or a mug of tea on my windowsill that's half finished, if I leave that for long enough, it's gonna have mold in it, you know. And I think the similar is out there in the universe. The more we're looking as well, like all of the extreme places, extreme environments in our own solar system, it is looking like there are signs of life there. You know, the clouds of Venus, a very strong candidate there. There's a private mission on its way that hopefully can confirm that. Mars has definitely got bloody bacterial life there currently. So 3 bodies next to each other, that statistically means it's going to be quite common. Now, it still could have been a rare circumstance somewhere within the solar system that caused that, but the fact that we always see ourselves this way is a product of our modern, the way science works, which is a little bit backwards on it. So I feel like that's not a way that I could go for it there. And Paul is in there. Good evening. You're the weekend man, but you don't like Mondays. Say no more. But at night you come alive with the Skywatch. There's so much energy left at the end of the day. Thank you. That's very, very kind, Paul. I've always been awful I don't sleep, so I come alive at night there. I'm useless most days of the week, but night time there. Lee as well. Rio coming in there feeding Alan. And Chromie as well coming in with the gifts. Thank you for that, guys. All goes back into the stream. Marcus is in as well. Check us quite later. Throw some more questions. Thank you, Lee, for do appreciate you there. And Penguin's there. If Alien was coming to your house and was wanting to sample 3 Earth meals, what would you cook for them? See, I can't. Look, we have this argument every week, me and the missus. So what are we having for dinner this week? Poor thing, she handles the meals because she knows what I'm like with it. So she does the shopping. I just go, whatever we had last week. Yeah, I can't ask. I forget every meal we've ever had. So I have no idea on that front. I've literally now I don't even know what I had for dinner today. And Locke as well. I keep saying when I'm on stream, forget in the morning. I'm like that. Literally, like, you guys will come in with so many good links to things and good suggestions on stuff. And because it gets late, and I'm like, oh shit, I've got to get to bed, not that sleep. You know, I've got work in the morning like that. As soon as I turn the stream off, wipe. And I'm like, and then I come on the stream and you go, oh guys, did you check out that thing? And I'm, no, totally forgot until you just mentioned it. There. Squeak, exactly there. And how are we doing, Barrett, tonight? Good to see you there. Raygun Burgers. Feral's going to be Feral, Kate. Coordinates at AK-77 4th there. Beardhead, what's that? What's the coordinates for? And 1 a.m. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you all in there. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are doing our live UFO, UAP, Skywatch. It's gone a little bit cloudy. In fact, let's move the camera around and see if we can find a better patch of sky. But yeah, we're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. Lots of history of weird and wonderful things in these skies. We've seen a lot of strange stuff as well. These clouds will hopefully pass pretty soon. They are moving. But yeah, lots of strange stuff for us to be observing. Let's spin it around a little bit more this way. See if there's any gaps. It's thinning out. Yeah, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. Ask away any questions. No silly questions here at all. And yeah, share your thoughts and opinions on it. We want to hear from you all there. And Paul.
Nom nom nom.
Feeding
Thanks,
Alan
guys.
as well. They're keeping him at bay. I am 10 minutes behind in the chat, so it might take me a second to get to your messages, or 10 minutes, but we'll get for you there. And Paul, the Ethiopian Bible is the complete Bible. It has the 20 books in it. The Romans cut out as they did not fit the narrative there, and includes the Book of Enoch there. Okay, so that's okay. A little bit more detail, because I heard a lot. The Book of Enoch, isn't the book itself like multiple books, or is it? Yeah, people are getting those together. Interesting around that. And how do you feel about that as well, Paul? Like, do you feel that that represents the full thing, and you're on board with all of that, or do you, for reasons, prefer the Roman narration? They're the trimmed up ones. And Marcus is in. How are we doing there? Oh, Joseph, sorry about that. Yeah, so last night our internet just went shite. So yeah, sadly, the TikTok has to go at that point, because TikTok is the one that just drains the system. So we have to sever that one. So it's always worth catching us as a backup with the YouTube. This goes to everyone, guys. At the thing UFO, more of the sky, less of my face, and all this other stuff there. So it's good to have it as a backup. So sadly, yeah. But it looks like, touch wood, the internet's playing ball tonight. So sorry about that one, cutting out halfway through. And Pancake there, I haven't looked into the Book of Enoch yet. I heard a lot about it. The same here. I've heard a lot about it there, and I'm very, very interested. I just need to get it on audiobook, I think. Damien, how are we doing? How are your skies your way tonight there? And I'm fully expecting to see an Independence Day mothership on the stream tonight, and that's Alan's guarantee. The problem is Alan's guarantee is not worth the paper it's printed off. He just, runs away from his responsibilities. You never know, the clouds might pass. Like the light in my room just goes bright, and then I'm not on the chair anymore. That'll be the ultimate sign. I might do that, guys. If I ever get bored of the stream, I'll record a video of me getting abducted like that and just never come back on. What do you reckon? And Congressman Bachet stated that based on the data and evidence shown to him, he intends to take the findings directly to the Pentagon and push for legislative pressure and formal congressional inquiries, which I think is a great thing. I think we don't always get to see how the soup is made a lot of these times. Think about anything from whether it's sort of civil rights, anything like that. It's a long, slow, tedious process of pressure from this person and all of that sort of stuff. So I think this is the process that we all have to go through there. OGV, how are we doing? Just seeing some gifts come up there. Thank you very much. Hope you are well. And Mike, a massive Skywatcher these days. Mike, glad to hear it. What is the best thing that you have seen? We've seen a few things on here, but I would go hunting if I could drive. Oh, Amanda, I feel you there. That is the thing that holds us back from doing lots of those on locations. I used to drive. I used to love driving, and now I can't for medical reasons. But we're working our way to getting back to that one. We're working our way there. So yeah, we've got to rely out on other people. But yeah, that opened up so many things. Just locally here, there are so many places that have a history with the highly strange. So yeah, I feel you there. Managed to just hurt myself on a plastic bottle. Where are we down here? And Chrissy there, how do their ships get here? So, well, this is the question. The running theory is that it would be things that we don't quite understand, which is a bit of a gap of the gods argument. It's always easy, isn't it, to go, oh, well, they're using some sort of technology we don't understand. Well, that's easy enough. How'd you prove it? But it's a little bit more than that. So their warp drive and wormholes, things like that, sounds very sci-fi, but it doesn't break physics. Real scientists have looked into this, and they expect, actually, that is a plausible way of working. We just can't do it because we don't have enough energy. That is the real issue. It's actually not as much energy as they first thought, but it is a lot. So it's something that we are not going to be able to test just yet there. But some other scientists looked at the maths on this and said, right, if they are bending time and space, so getting around that light speed limit, then that will have a visual profile, not just visual. There'll be all sorts of indicators that is what's going on. Now, all you can see some movement up there between the gap in the clouds there. Gaza coming in,
Nom nom nom.
feeding
Thanks,
Alan.
guys.
So yeah, there would be some effects on that, and essentially when they are bending. Using gravity to bend time and space, you'd get a gravitational lensing effect. We see this around black holes and big stars, we see it in other galaxies. It bends the light around, the gravity itself bends the light. And yeah, this effect on a much smaller scale is definitely witnessed with UFO images and videos. Not all of them, obviously, but there are a lot that they've got these distortion patterns. So that could be an indicator that that's what they're using. It's kind of the conclusion I think that the ufology kind of came to with that one. But also the signatures of a warp drive being used. It would have a certain it wouldn't be a sound you could hear. There'd be a radio signal, be a gravitational wave that you could, in theory, detect. And we could build those detectors, but we don't. So it might be going off everywhere. We just need to do it. But that would be a way around it there. Bow down to the Emperor says, how are we doing there? And when is the Rendlesham Forest live stream there, Dan? And if you're doing Canic Chase there, I'm there. So, Paul coming in as well. We're hoping for Rendlesham in October. So that is what we're looking at dates for that one now. So I mean, we've basically got to be there. But so the next goal that we need to do is the battery for the Starlink, so we can actually be on for more than an hour, because that thing hogs the actual charge for being remote. The actual live stream kit, all of the cameras and all that sort of stuff, we can go for about 5 hours on the internal batteries and the little battery box we bring with us. As soon as you plug Starlink into that, hour. So that's the next thing we're saving up for that. But then stretch goals. It's going to be a portable speaker that is suitable to do the dog whistle. So potentially try summoning in the craft with the ultrasonic tones and frequencies, but you need a certain one that can do those frequencies. So that is going to be our stretch goal for that. But again, it's not the end of the world. So I'm expecting that we will get there for that one. But yeah, probably October time for that. And I'm trying to see if I can crowbar in as well one for another one. One of the nuclear power stations that's on the Suffolk coast as well. I could essentially rope my old man into coming off with us when I go and visit him. Sizewell, I think, there. And Roy there, and if you live in Clacton-on-Sea, look to the west, and this is clearly visible with the naked eye. So I wonder where Starlink is now, because somebody check where Starlink is. Would it be visible from Clacton? That is the southeast of the UK. Because if it is not Starlink, because we should better tell this, then that is a really, really interesting sighting there, Roy. And so the UFO I saw was on a sunny day with 20% cumulus clouds, a metallic orb following a jet plane several miles behind it, and the jet went behind several clouds and carried on its way, and the orb where did it get to? Went behind the cloud, and I never saw it again. It never reappeared. Right there, that fits in with a lot of what we're seeing in the modern year. These silver orbs flying around as well. Cool. What is that like to experience like that sort of thing? Like that is pretty cool. Actually, you actually see the craft itself like that. Whereabouts in the world was it there? And never mind, how are we doing tonight? Good to see you there. And 1 a.m. Met a Nordic too. Now, right, this is interesting. We don't get a lot of the Close Encounters of the Third Time speaking to the beings. I don't know if it's because people don't like to share it or that. But if you want to, I know a couple of us have, but love to hear more on that one at 1 a.m. if you want to share it there. And Ed's in there. Governments are not hiding aliens there. Any government can't wait to jump at the chance to announce alien life and be part of history there. Just look at Clinton in at 96. So I think that is a very interesting data point there, Ed. I really do, because this, you think it would be like a great brownie points moment, you'd think, for a lot of them, wouldn't you? There, I wouldn't necessarily say that is across the board though. So definitely not in China, because China has a weird, because of the political, it's basically a dictatorship over there. They keep things under tight control. They had a real big issue in the 90s with this UFO-based, this religion that was heavily tied into UFOs and aliens, and it caused a bit of an uprising, and then they just kind of like made that religion legal. So any whiff of that sort of thing is stamped out now, apparently. So I think there are those cultural differences around it there. There's also, if you look at the stuff that we're looking at on our deep dive, all of the 1950s reports and stuff like that, there is a real, what always strikes me is that they all go, there is something here, there is something going on, we need to look more at this. But then the other hand, they say, we can't let the public think there's something to this. They were really, really, really concerned that UFO hysteria could take over the US and it could cause massive problems and, allow for an attack from the Soviets. So for me, it would make sense. Like, how do you marry those things up there? Because, Clinton was allowed to say those sorts of things. But I do think it's different with what Clinton came out and said, which was we think we have fossilized evidence of a microbe, in a meteorite from Mars, so there may have been life on another planet, is not necessarily the same as aliens are coming here and visiting us there. He may have also not been read in, so he might have gone, yeah, let's talk about this, and then anything more would have been shut down because they were so concerned. It's there in the black and white in they're not even leaked, they're now public declassified documents basically saying, and it was a really big threat. The possibility of what they could have done was really, really interesting. Now, how are we doing, Captain? Good to see you there. Thank you for the gifts. Hope you're well. Where do we get down there? And Hal Putoff dropped a major bomb saying the government actually has retrieved 4 different species / types of non-human entities from crash retrieval, not just 4 individual bodies. Okay, I've not heard that one. Where did he say that? That is very interesting, because if there's one, there's going to be more. That's just the way it is. It's like there's not just one type of dog, is there? They all come from the same, but there's various species out there. There's all sorts of totally different creatures that have formed into similar looking things to dogs, 4 legs, all that sort of, evolution likes to kind of throw things out there. So it makes sense to me that if life's out there, there's going to be a lot of it, and if there's a lot of it, a subdivision of that is going to become technological, it's going to traverse the distances. And I seen things years ago, Samantha, but not so much these days. There too much light pollution. It really does get in the way. Imagine what we would see if we didn't have any of that, and we actually paid attention, got off our phones and looked up there. What was your best sighting of the time there, Amanda? And Chrissy there, Axis of Evil there proves the special zone. It's the Axis of Evil. You got to tell us more on that one, Chrissy, because I'm interested. I am interested in this. There. So the Axis of Evil, is the Iraq, Afghanistan one from the early 2000s, or is this the what is this? Tell us more on that. Where are we down here? The truth is coming out. I think it is there. Oh, and Psychic, you live near Pendle Hill. So I'm surprised how many of you guys are around that way, but it makes sense, I suppose, living close to such a sort of a spooky phenomenon or something like that. It's going to cause an interest in the local populace. See if I can just move this camera around, see if we can get any little bit. It's a little bit thinner there for now. They should pass, he says. Plasma orb in daylight 1 a.m. Now that is cool, because a lot of that we only really look at night, mainly because I'm a sucker and I like the night sky, but I do want to start doing some daytime stuff, and God, that totally changes the game as well. I would like to have that experience. Was it close by? Was it high up there? And
Nom nom nom, thanks, guys.
Thank you for feeding Alan there. Jane is in as well. How are we doing? And so cool, I think it is. I am the Emperor. Have you got your... You've got your new clothes. Is this the lesson there, Kate? Where are we down there? Oh, you're actually there. How put off? Fingers crossed. More of that to come. Excellent. Humanity has been messed with on a genetic level, I feel. So there is... something I'm definitely open to. It's a bit too big brain for me to fully understand the details around it, and I know there are some arguments for it and for against it. There, for me, with my limited knowledge, I think there's a plausibility in the sense that we would bloody do it, and I think if we would do it, if that opportunity comes along in the times, nothing wipes us out, then we're gonna do it, but I don't know that that's not the same as there's direct evidence that they have. Now, some people will say that there is evidence of it, and it could well be. I definitely think, for me, it's all on that scale, the percentages there, and panspermia or directed panspermia, the idea that life is seeded through the galaxy, very, very high on that one. I feel very, very high on the plausibility for that one. Has maybe there been some manipulation of people actively here? Again, I'm definitely very open to it there. And 1 a.m. there, YouTube is censoring you. And YouTube's not normally so bad for it. It doesn't tell us, sadly. What was it that didn't come through there? I've just learned about the Great Attractor. Oh, Joel. So, am I right in this? Is the Great Attractor the thing that's sucking in galaxies out of the visible universe? Is that the Great Attractor for that one? Because that one blows my mind for that as well. And Willow, we are in a very quiet part of our galaxy there, and it will be the next generation of telescopes that will be able to see rocky Earth-sized worlds and their atmospheres that will confirm life on exoworlds. So this is it. We're just getting those subtle hints, aren't we, at the minute, that could be life, could be everywhere, and we are so close, I think, to being able to prove that one properly. So I think, yeah, you're right there. I do feel like it's coming very, very soon for that one. But the limited technology, we're able to see a few, but again, it's the larger worlds that are able to be detected around dimmer stars as well. So we're not even really able to look at stars like our own. It's too bright. I think one or two that have got some detections there, but it is our closest neighbour, even though it's not. It's a red dwarf star, so it's not as bright as ours. It's that Proxima B is looking very, very habitable, and they're also anomalous signals. So I think it's going to be, absolutely everywhere there. Well, yeah, maybe you are. Which bit was it? Where are we down here? Guys, if you are just joining us, I'm a few minutes behind in the chat. We're going reading through 2 chats at once here, so it might take me a minute to get back to you. But do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight. We want to hear from you all. Just fighting the clouds a little bit. Let's see if we can get... no, I think that's the roof. I think, yeah, we are. It is meant to be patchy tonight. See how we get on with this. It's very dense. Think of it as the clouds of Venus. Let's look down to the horizon and see if we can... Oh, it's thinning on the horizon by the looks of it. You can see that bit of light there. So let's just look down to there for now. Where are we? Chris, pick up stone. There's billions on the planet there, but you won't find any on the any one the same. And no matter how hard you try there, numbers game doesn't add up there. Billions of galaxies mean nothing. Well, no, not necessarily, because there's things like convergent evolution. There are reasons. Everything that we've evolved like this are for certain things. So I don't think that's the correct way. I feel that sort of thing is coming from the absence of us looking. Like a lot of you think of things like the Fermi paradox. Where are all the aliens? It's the wrong question to be answered. It's like, have we got any shot in hell with our current technology to successfully detect aliens? The answer is very, very low. But then it's also backed up by the fact that, well, we have detected lots of anomalous radio signals that we can't, confirm what they are. So that it's the hints around that. There are certain special things with it there, and we could say God created DNA along with the universe there. Everything is too complex to be a coincidence. I'm very much with that one there, Paul. Even science says this: give us one miracle and we'll give you the universe. And for me, I didn't grow up religious, but the older I get, the less of a mismatch it feels. I really don't feel like a lot of the time there is any contradiction between science and religion. Now, there are obviously certain specifics that do overlap there, but for me, it's just, if you're not holding it too tight, they definitely works together there. Harko, how are you doing tonight? Welcome to the dark sides there. And simulation theory is a good one to fall down, and definitely it is. I don't lean that we're in a simulation. I think it's just that the way the universe works is more computational, but it is interesting. There we go, V, just getting to you there. How are you doing? Good to see you. And the odds of one protein molecule folding is a higher number than all of the atoms in the universe there. Life is probably unique to Earth. So that is the thing. If you're going on that snapshot, but it has, well, we know it has happened, obviously, here, but there are strong indicators that there is life elsewhere. Strong indicators now for that. And I just don't see it, because if it was that unique for proteins to do all of that, then how did it happen immediately? Like, literally, we didn't have to wait a few billion years of it being a desolate rock. It was just, as soon as it was cool enough, even slightly before we thought, it was life. So how do we marry those up? So what I would say, Ed, around that one is that maybe abiogenesis is very, very, very difficult. Life starting from absolute nothing. But what if that happened off-world? What if that happened in a different solar system? And what if panspermia and the idea of travelling sort of simple forms of life being spread and, infecting, all of the other planetary bodies and stuff like that? What if that, is more plausible over those bigger scales. I mean, say plausible. Panspermia is definitely, you know, a mainstream scientific understanding, because for me that would then both could work like that. So that for me feels much more plausible to allow for all of those things, because honestly, it's going to be, our solar system is going to be packed with life. I don't think we're going to see necessarily anything more complex than bacteria, but I think it is going to be packed with it there. Look at the shapes of the clouds, just cloud shaped there. And Stuart as well, how's Newport Pagnell tonight there? Back to work in the morning after 10 days off. The problem is, isn't it, Stuart, when you do have time off like that, then you've got to jump back into it. It's always worse there. And I would point to the tell you of the Great Attractor. That's where you might find an alien. Well, I mean, it's an interesting one. If it is the one that I thought is the Great Attractor there, if you firmly believe, then you will see. There isn't, psychologically speaking, 1am. That is a mechanism. That is partly how our brains work. There. 13 books of Enoch, Jesus. Yeah, it's because we all refer to it as one, don't we? But really it's multiple. I had a few, but the categories are epic. Oh, it's a landing page. What's that for? Super. As well there. You see a large owl in the sky. It's a hoot. There, the Emperor of Lancashire. That Kate. And speaking of clouds, I've seen a UFO shaped from a pink cloud in 2019 in Vals, Italy. So the cloud was UFO shaped, or it could have been cloaked in that sort of thing, pink as well. Somebody sent us through, I can't remember your name, if you're in tonight, images of, like, you know, like a mostly clear day, but with the odd cloud. But the clouds were like square. Like perfectly, as if it was like a Minecraft version of a cloud. Really interesting to see that. You go, what's causing that? How you gone the last 2 nights? Well, have you seen the film Taken? It's a TV series, isn't it? There, just saying. And Willow, if aliens appeared above you and they shined a light at you, there, the reflection would blind them. There, just bouncing off my head. And Amanda, Sam, do you use a separate wide-angle lens on top of the main lens? So, no, we don't actually at the moment. At the minute, we have just got one lens on here, and we do a digital zoom. So this is as wide angle as I could afford. I am looking at another one, bang at the money in a second. But for example, if we were to zoom in here, it's literally just a digital zoom, so it gets lower and lower quality there at the second. So when it comes to the lenses, it's the trade-off between how much light you're letting in, which is very important to us, versus, you know, like your ability to zoom and it be clear and stuff. So we went for light. That's why we see a lot of stuff there. But wouldn't it be cool if we could just A and B between this and a telescope? We could do a super zoom and stuff like that. You got to learn to drive next year, Kate. 100%. It's very freeing. It's bloody expensive nowadays, though. Put down the knife and fork and step away from the plastic bottle. Honestly, I was, funnily enough though, the irony is, you know, my rants to these things, I was really happy because I opened this bottle and I went, oh look, no stupid fucking attachment, brilliant. But I'll tell you what happened, whereas I over tightened it, I fucking dragged my finger across it and went, ha. Oh dear. So it turns out you do need those plastic attachments to stop me hurting myself with them there. His face is in the clouds. And in Enoch, fallen angels father the Nephilim there, and violent giants destroyed by God, and their spirits become evil spirits afflicting humanity. I am interested in that. It touches on something. You know, like when you go, oh, I feel like I'm going to come out of a connection if I read that. I have an owl keeping me awake at night, sitting outside the windows. You're like, come on, just pecking away there. How you doing, Rodney? And get me down here. Love the owls. Keep up the good spotting in the clouds there. And JT there, have you seen many recently? Last week was really fruitful for sightings. We hadn't seen that type before. Spin the camera around, see if we've see a little bit of fin in there. See the light poking through on it. Let's have a look. Are we getting any? No, it still looks pretty thick there. Let's keep our eye down here for a second. Yeah, there's some interesting ones there, but obviously it's a bit cloudy at the minute, so it is due to pass. You can see it moving, so hopefully it's going to be nice and clear on the other side of it there. Can't with the typing tonight there, Cat. I feel ya. And Clacton is Farage Land. They've got a roller coaster with his face on it. Where are we? Down here. ISS over the Pacific Ocean. Oh, is it in shots tonight? We ain't going to be able to see anything at the minute, are we? There, and... Nice long story. They did meet a Nordic. Hey, we're up for hearing it if you want to share it, but there's a better place actually. If you want to join our Discord, this goes to everybody over there. Link in bio for that. It's a little community where we share all of the latest news, the interesting podcasts we see about the phenomena there, but also my favourite, the personal experiences section, where you can tell your stories. They don't just disappear after the stream. All of the community can have a look then. Images and videos can be attached as well there. There's about 525 Starlinks over Warminster right now, and it's bloody cloudy. But there are so many of them up there. Isn't it about 16,000 man-made satellites in orbit? And about 12,000 of those are Starlink alone. It's just crazy how many there are there. And Bailey there, I remember the BBC showing a video of a Concorde many years ago. And 3 small circular objects were seen very close to the tower there. To search for a line. That would be cool. Because people are looking back through a lot of historical stuff now. Now we're able to analyse and understand things better. We're finding stuff. I mean, immediately we go back to the old photographic plates from the 1950s there of the night sky, and you know, that is a time capsule of the night sky before man had stuff in orbit. So, you know, really interesting. And now we've got the technology to go through it all. We're seeing some strange things up there, so it wouldn't surprise me if there are more gems in the record. Don't get out of the car. Oh yeah, I mean, I probably would as well. Camera defect of the Concorde for the Concorde video. I mean, that is a possibility there. Or Rib need to bite the bullet. Oh no, I feel you for that. Manus is dead now. Harco. Oh, it's Manus did well. Manus did a great job with the all of the stuff there, all the comics and things for the stream. So, God rest Manus there. And yeah, my God, lots of lambs shouting for their mummies on the farm there. And Chrissy, I think you might get one consciousness in one universe, so maybe aliens in other universes. Oh, so you mean like a consciousness as in like we're all part of the same consciousness, or that we're conscious but other animals aren't? Like that as well. I mean, maybe consciousness is a weird one. It's like the soul. It's something we all mostly agree that we have, but there aren't solid definitions, even in science. And in fact, I absolutely love the modern era, because a lot of physicists now are kind of looking at consciousness and all of this sort of stuff. And the language they're using is so almost spiritual. Like, it is an interesting interesting time to be alive. And V coming in with the hashtags. Thank you for that, V. So it is the likes, shares, tapping away the hashtags, all that stuff that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. I mean, somebody coming in right now though is going to go, what the hell are they looking at? It's a cloud watch. Oh, there's a little patch there. It's always worth spinning around and having a look. Where are we down here? And I heard they have over 40 crash retrievals. So this is the thing. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I mean, not saying it's right or wrong. I don't know. I don't have the information. But if I'm thinking, like, whatever the phenomena is, it has to, whether it's extraterrestrial, right? There can't be as many of them over here than there is of us, because we'll just notice them, wouldn't we, in their day-to-day. Think how much air traffic we have related to however many billion people on here. If we're saying there's a lot of air traffic from them, how many of those would have to be here, whether they're extraterrestrials, whether they're pre-existing civilization, or whatever it might be. So, like, 40 just seems like a lot for me for that. Alan, show yourself. He'd come out eventually. He's doing some colouring in there. And the light's fading in and out there and shooting off at speed. But that's when I was over Somerset. Ah, yeah, because you're the family that way. It is a weird part of the world around here, isn't it? So, maybe. I suppose, but also less light pollution, I should say, to see those things there. But that speeding off, that is very anomalous there. And all UFO are human tech there. A retrieval means we retook our own secret bird. So, I mean, I'm open to there being that as part of a possibility. I'm open to it there, Barrett. But I don't know. You know what? Yeah. It depends. For me, I need to know that there are certain branches, certain decisions, certain ways that this could have gone at certain points in history. If this is true, then what does that mean for this? And that is part of that train of my understanding of one of the possibilities of what could explain what is going on there. There is definitely a world, I think, guys, where some form of, if this is the correct way to word it, anti-gravity technology was invented back in the 40s, the 50s, somewhere around that sort of time, and it's just been siloed and kept secret. Now that presents its own problems, but yeah, it is one of the potential branches. You should do a meet-up, where everyone who is in the community who lives nearby can travel, can meet up and do skywatching. Clay Hill or something would be wicked. Never mind, we are. That is something. I was hoping to do it for this year, but I just got distracted with everything else. But no, we definitely do want to do it. I think the barriers, there are a few barriers for doing a meetup, which we will overcome. I just haven't cracked that nut yet. One of them is that technically if we do a Skywatch or anything, there's an argument to be made of legal responsibility, so I have to make sure we've covered that, because if you break your leg, I can't afford that. The other one is that if people travel all this way and it's a cloudy night or it's raining, then what's our alternative? What could we still do together as an activity? And then what can we also do during the day? Like, there's a couple of things that I do want to do. There's been a couple of good suggestions, but I feel like making it worth people travel. But we will at some point. I think it would be good fun to do all of that. And humans think they are top dog, but Top Cat is around the corner. Top Cat. But we do. We always think that could be the biggest adjustment out of all of this. Is if somebody comes along, press announcement, all right, guys, yeah, we're not alone in the universe. There's about 30 other civilizations that are more advanced than us. They haven't hurt us yet. They come say hi occasionally. But yeah, there are bigger boys out there. What does that do to our psychology? Putting us in a different place in the pecking order. Like, what does that... That could be the most interesting thing. I don't think it's going to be a direct look. If these things don't affect people immediately, then there's probably not going to be much of a friction. But there is some way that little status change, I think, could really, really affect us there. And Dr. Hal Puthoff confirmed in an interview that crash retrieval insiders told him the government recovered at least 4 distinct alien species there, not just individual bodies. It's interesting. Okay, that fits in. That fits in, I think. I could believe that. The Greys, the Nordics, the reptilians, and the insectoids. So the Greys and the Nordics, for me, I would bet money that there is a close relation to us. So for Greys, I think it makes sense it's us from the future. If you're talking about building a craft that can traverse these distances, you're also doing a time machine. And what else would explain why they look so bloody similar to us there? V, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that. The fact evolution coming that close, that's surprising for me. It's possible, but it's surprising. But the same with the Nordics, like, they're even closer to us now. So there's got to be either we're cousins, and that's why we've got a similarity there, or there are some form of direct descendant there. The reptilians, again, and the insectoids even, where they all do seem to be quite humanoid, don't they? Less so for those two. There. Officer Dribble. The Great Attractor, we are blind to there, and it is on the other side, way beyond our own galaxy. So if it's the one I think it is, speaking of Star Map, thank you, Captain Blue Nose. That's very, very kind of you. It's a massive appreciation. All gifts, subs, the members, all that jazz does go back into the stream there, guys, helping us improve what we're doing. So the Great Attractor, for what I heard, was basically we have something called the visible universe, because the galaxy is expanding. The universe is expanding faster than the speed of light, but the speed of light stops. It's that hard limit for how fast life can travel. It means that there is part of the galaxy, like a sphere around us, like a line as far as we can see. Like, if you're if you've got a torch, your candle, and you're in a massive dark open space, you've got like a circle of light around you, haven't you? It's that sort of principle. Like, we'll never be able to see outside of that radius there. So the universe, as far as we know, continues on. We don't know how far, but we'd expect it to be wider. But right on the edge of the known, of the visible universe, there are galaxies that are being pulled. We can see the gravitational pull pulling them out of our visible universe there. So whole other galaxies, which massive objects. So we don't know of any structures in space that are big enough to have that much gravity, that can do that. So there is something massive outside of our vision. How cool is that? They're watching us there, you just can't see them. I think it's very, very plausible there. And Amanda, where is everybody from? Yeah, come on, guys. Let's give a heads up where you're watching from tonight there. My desk, you were first to know. We never heard. It would be a crime against humanity and not to call my desk. But this is the thing. How are you sure that you're ready on everything there, Barrett? What about, because we often talk about how it's compartmentalised and various facets of these things. There, West Sussex, Amanda Way, East Yorkshire there, 1am, Lancashire for Psychic. Don't forget the Reptids there. Oh, yeah, top of the food chain. Are they? Get the like button pressed. Appreciate that, guys, if you choose to do that. Alan is out there vaping. God, it is going through thick and fast. I hope it doesn't rain on the camera. God, look, there's no. Which way is that? No, wrong way. God, it's round the left and right around the wrong way, but up and down are correct. Is that a little wisp? A little wisp there? A little wisp of sky. Make the most of that. Isla Lewis there, Loch Lomond. And during his appearance on Stephen Bartlett's The Diary of a CEO podcast, Hal Puthoff stated that his information came directly from first-hand insiders, their government contractors and military personnel. Hal's an interesting one. Like, I could definitely see him being used, to seed certain, what they want the narrative to be. But I don't know how much we trust him. We know he's been involved in all parts of this, some more credible angles than the other. But how do we feel with Hal? Violation detection was... Oh, go away, person there. We get enough violations and they just come straight out with it there. It's not going to fall for that. And Christy, Axis of Evil is the oldest temperature map of the entire universe and has a weird line running through it there. And it lines up right with our dipole. The exact direction of our solar system is zooming through space. So interesting. I wonder though if that... I've not heard of that, but that is interesting because, yeah, that would imply there's something very special, wouldn't it? But I wouldn't write it off as it necessarily not just being a product of our measurements there, because there's lots of things that have tripped us up in the past by those sorts of things. Interesting. I'll look into that, Chrissy. I like that. And Janie there coming in with a gift as well. Thank you, Janie. Appreciate it. All goes back into the stream. And Barrett, if any of you can access the open source archive, check out the name Major Tim Gareth Wheeler. US Airborne. Okay. I'm sure somebody will be on that one there. Whitby. I've never been to Whitby. He's on the list there. And V, just thank you, V. Appreciate that. And I would have thought there would be no more. Well, this thing is there's going to be more life out there. So we often talk about, don't we, who's visiting us, the Greys, for example. But if they are an extraterrestrial in the classic sense, they have evolved on a different planet. What we do know is that evolution, they must have had a similar experience to us. For evolution to provide the same result, the only reason we're complex, the only reason we have fingers, fingernails, eyelids, ears, nose, mouth, bollocks, all of those things is because we have had to compete, haven't we, for resources and for survival. If we didn't have to do that, we would just be gelatinous blobs absorbing heat from the sun. But no, we've had to compete, we've had to get ever more complex because of that. So the fact that they're complex too will imply they've had that, which means that their worlds, they have their cats, their dogs, gnats, insects, ticks, elephants, they've got a whole diverse biosphere as well to create that evolutionary demand and the pressures. So, if they're the top of the species, they're the ones that are technological, there's going to be loads of other creatures that are still technically alien, going to be for those. But again, not necessarily every species is going to get technologically advanced. Maybe most of them do ultimately, given enough time, but a lot are going to kind of they're not going to be starting off on the same thing. If we talk about super Earths a lot as well, don't we? So the idea that there are planets out there that are kind of rocky, that's a very loose definition of super Earth, rocky, but they're much larger mass than our planet here on Earth. Well, it's actually a fine line for how much mass a planet can have before the gravity would just be so strong that they'll never get off it there. So maybe they just can't advance technologically there. So there'll be a wide spread, I imagine, even if they're not all technological. Maybe not all of them wants to come and say hello there. But Paul and Living Light,
nom nom nom, thanks.
Thank you for feeding Alan. And I never got a chance to go around there properly as it was pouring down. That's Yorkshire. Are the aliens being covered up by the Catholic Church, and do they have evidence in their archives? I think they might have. I don't know if it's going to be an active cover-up from them, but I suppose, depending on what it is they're covering up. Just the fact that there's life out there, I don't think so. Because what we have to remember is that us thinking we are alone is a really new thing. Like, before we had probes on Mars, which was only what the 60s really for those. It was still in the 40s definitely, but the 50s too, that they thought life was everywhere. They thought intelligent life, very similar to us, was at that time living side by side to us on Mars and Venus. Then that's why the famous radio play, you know, the War of the Worlds back in, was it the 30s? You know, people thought in America that it was an actual Martian invasion. That wouldn't have worked if they didn't think there was any life out there, you know, but they did. They thought at the time they were detecting the radio signals coming from those planets. They thought that they were seeing the canals, you know, constructions on the surface for their early telescopes there. So, and you know, arguably a much more religious time. So yeah, they didn't have a problem or a cover up then for that. Exactly, North Yorkshire. And Lee, Katie Slater, Lee, thank you as always for joining us there. Has nailed it. The biggest problem for cosmology. I'll have a look into that one. But we got to remember our limitations from our, you know, observations. And it happened because those unique were the only way life could happen. And it could happen. So it happened because those unique conditions were the only way that life could happen, and it couldn't happen before and couldn't happen after. So that's the thing. Then that's not what the science says. You know, that is what it used to think based on not actually having any direct evidence. But now we're looking that they're coming away from the random luck. You know, because they actually the Earth wasn't as habitable as we would have expected for biological life. So it happened in spite of the conditions, and even the mainstream are quite confident on that one for that. What's that one? Where do we get to? And come to Doncaster there. We've got aliens there running the empty barber shops. Run away from that in Essex. And there are Blue Nose. What's it? Donny is great there. I have been. Is it Lindholm? Can see Angry Neighbour in A4. How are you, Grandmaster? Taken is a great series there. Surprised Disclosure Day it wasn't as epic as that. So I got to admit it wasn't. I much more enjoyed Taken when what I remember of it and that. But I suppose it's limited time, you know, limited time frame. Lethal there, the podcast air date, the interview featuring Dr. Hal Puthoff alongside documentary director Dan Farah was released the 14th of May 2026. Interesting. I've seen a few on Dan, but I didn't know he did one with with Hal. Oh, you're asked because your camera is a mirrorless one. So yeah, basically, I think it's the same as this one, basically. Yeah. So if you want to do this sort of stuff, Amanda, wide field is better. Wide field, low life, so low light, the lowest f stop number you can get. I think we're 25 mil, and I'm looking at 14 mil at the minute. They are Grandmaster. They are indefensible. Those bloody things. They really are. And if I was looking for aliens, I wouldn't go big. I would go small. They might be the size of a flea. Why? They have to be the same size as roughly as us. So that's a very good point. Like, this is a very good point. Again, this is one of our biases, isn't it? We're looking for something what we know. And if we are talking about statistics, that is why science works like this. Well, at least we know this is possible. But I think, yeah, very, very right. I think biological life is going to be everywhere there in the sense of like bacteria and microbes and things like that. So I think that's going to be a commonplace. But maybe there are more complex forms that are much, much smaller than us. Maybe larger too. Maybe massive scales. Maybe we might not even perceive life in all of its weight, shapes or forms. Very good point there, Chrissy. I'm now confused on the lenses. So yeah, if you want to do like the wide field, looking at what we like similar to we're doing, so we have a wide angle lens to basically we don't know where the action's going to be. So if we're like a telescope with too zoomed in, we lower our odds of seeing anything. So you want to go as wide as possible for that, and then as low a light as possible. So like the lowest f number, I think. Not even the bloody cap there's gone. This is not looking hospitable, is it, for us tonight? Come on. Whatever happened to mostly clear? I want to have a word with my weather forecaster, the bastards. Where are we down here? I met Nordic once there, and he was a nice bloke there. His name was Peter Schmeichel. There, and it was actually on Clive Sullivan where they met. It was actually on Clive Sullivan Way where I met the Nordic. Oh, so up in Yorkshire way. Excellent. And Emilio, how are we doing there? We're all good, other than it's gone bloody cloudy. How are you doing there? I get that, Grandmaster Lucian, when you go down the spiritual route. It's not an area that I would have expected to. I would have expected to be interested in. But the less I've held those things too tightly, the more interesting I found it. Like, if this is the thing, we're not. We do this to ourselves in our modern culture. It's all binary yeses or nos. This is factually 100% correct, or it's totally wrong. And most of the time, that's bollocks. That's not how the world works. You know, it's 60-40 a lot of the time, or it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I think we need to get our head around the idea that, you know, there are many versions of a truth. You know, is it true that I get on a train to go to work to Bristol? Yes, but it's not the full truth, is it? It's only part of the truth. The train's green most of the time. And, you know, is it true that it's normally late? Yes. But, I mean, what's the numbers? Is it 2 out of 3 times? So, you know, to try and get everything to the scientific, measurable, consistent result, that's not a useful tool in our day-to-day language. And as soon as I started applying that to things like the spirituality, because, again, for me, all of that stuff was meditation, bollocks, and all that, I was not into it. But the more I kind of went, well, can I still man somebody's argument with this stuff? What could somebody be trying to say using different language and different tools? And looking at it like that, I found it much more interesting, but it does take a bit. And we are all collective consciousness there, lied to and manipulated for thousands of years there, right? Vibration rules the universe. Well, I think vibration does. I think, yeah, everything's a wave. We know that fits in even with the mainstream there as well. A collective consciousness. You know what? Might be the case to some degrees. There, are we? I mean, we are at the very least the universe experiencing itself. And here, and if you don't know Clarkson, you know I'm not from Hull there. Loving the hearts there, Blue Nose. And as Mars, the club they used to run at Howden. Oh, no, you're talking about your times there. And warp is possible if the ship is the size of a flea, and that's what math says. So aliens with warp drive might be small, and if alien ship is the size of a 1 gram negative energy only. So, I mean, no, the math says if you've got enough energy, you can do it. Size isn't relevant. That's something that I've always been really interested with, because, like, when people give us the stories of, oh, there's an alien mothership on the way. Well, if they're traversing these distances, most likely it would be a warp wormhole, a warp drive, and therefore size doesn't really matter from that. You know, it's just how much energy you're putting into it. If you're solving to get enough power to do it, then yeah, you can do it there. But that's what the I think it's the Alcubierre warp drive kind of plays for on there. But I mean, yeah, why couldn't they be smaller? You know, there are the gap between in the smaller measurements of what we know, you know, from the atom to the Planck length, which is the smallest we can measure, is that gap of ranges there of different sizes there is more than from our level up to the rest of the universe. There's a lot of room to hide in those places. Flux line is a functional craft. I am interested in that. I need to be looking a bit more at watched it operate. It's very cool if true there. So fell asleep. Oh, Harker, no worries. Willow, so we could potentially wipe out alien life with the one spot I use for my cats every month, but well, possibly, you know, we never know our effects knocking onto all of these things there. How you doing, Chris Hendry? And where are we there? It's already Tuesday for you, Harko. Already? Oh, God, yeah. Earth has had a space fleet since before I was born. That I always struggle with. I always struggle with that one, though. And never mind, from near Warminster on the Dorset-Wiltshire border there. Excellent, very close by. Are you coming to the, never mind, are you coming to the meetup? On the for the Skywatchers one next on Saturday. My next door neighbour's cousins and David told me that crash retrieval is a legit. Trust me. You never know. And Blue knows that we need a field to meet up to get the tents out and watch the sky together. Actually, yes, that might be a perfect way around it. You know, put it as a little festival like that. Yes, Blue knows. You might just be cracking that one for us there. And Kate as well, when you announce it, make clear everyone is travelling and attending at their own risk, their responsibility. Well, technically, yeah, like it is still a grey area, because it can still be seen as an invite and stuff. So yeah, I'll have to look at the technicalities around it. We will figure it out. It won't be the end of the world there. Check their name. Okay, get the chat to do it. Yeah. We only use 10% of our brains. I heard that was a bit of a wives' tale, that one, because I've heard it, and that's what I thought too, that we don't use our full brain. But then somebody else was saying it's not technically true. There, depending on how drunk we are. That's why we build AI to think for us. So no. Well, to a degree, actually, to a degree, you know, do the thinking that we can't, you know, larger computations there, because it can. It's not that we can't do it, but we can. They can do it faster in certain cases. You know, like I found AI to be most useful in doing things that I know how to do, but it just takes me a long time to do it, and I can get it to do it 10 times faster. You know, like it's an efficiency thing for me. For those, get the book. Do it. And to be honest, we don't use that 10% of our grey matter very well. Well, that's definitely, again, we're not as conscious as we think we are. We're not always, we are far more running on the subconscious and the emotions, which are all pre-written scripts, much more than we would like to believe there. Very apocalyptic sky colour there. Prof, you're not wrong. This is a live Skywatch from the clouds of Venus. So, you know, we're right on the Venusian surface, right? That's what we tell ourselves to make it more interesting. It's meant to be mostly clear tonight, or is it cloudy patches? It doesn't look like that, does it? Ourselves. And NASA are launching a new telescope. Oh, which one is that? There's a few interesting ones coming on there. And Chrissy, the Great Attractor is a massive gravitational anomaly. They're hidden deep in space that is pulling our Milky Way galaxy, along with millions of others, towards it at millions of miles an hour. Ah, so maybe I'm not thinking of the right one. I'm thinking of the one that's outside of our, outside of the visible universe. And where are we down here as well, Buffy? Did the Greys, the Nordics, and Insectoids get together and agreed not to reveal themselves to the planets in an obvious way? Same with the other supposed species. It's a possibility. You know, you can think of like the Prime Directive and stuff like that. Maybe they're purposely not meddling, or maybe they're purposely hidden for their own reasons. But also, if they are going to be a small number here, they could probably get on and do what they want. And it's only now recently that we've really been able to share that that information. You know, they've just gone not directly unnoticed, but you know, who's going to believe them half the time? What was the plane that they were testing? I want to say it was the U2 or something like that, but I don't think it was, because basically they gave the test pilots at the time monkey mask, 8 marks. So it's if anybody ever flies nearby and, you know, having a look when you're test flying this plane, put the monkey mask on, and then when they tell their friends, oh, I saw this super new jet, a military jet, blah blah blah, but an ape was riding it, then there'd be, you know, they wouldn't be believed. Same principle works. Aliens are watchers. They're the dogging enthusiasts of the universe there. Well, we are in the interstellar equivalent of a lay-by just off the A6, known for notorious reasons there. Check the open source officer's file. Are they open source for that? Somebody, I don't even know where to look for that. That's the problem. I don't even know where to look for that stuff there. And Psychic there, nice channel, subscribe. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. All the watch the skies. Honestly, there's normally a lot better than this. So hopefully we'll catch you later on in the week when it is nice and clear. There, yeah, it is not turning out on our side, is it, at the minute there? Great Attractor is a massive galaxy cluster obscured by our own galaxy. They found a way to look through all of the dust. Interesting. So I'm thinking of something else then for that one, because there is something on the known, on the edge of the known universe, pulling galaxies out of visible range there. It's really interesting to think. Oscar, how are you there too? And why is that right-handers are left brain orientated and left-handed people are both left and right orientated? So this is an interesting angle here. I did see something on it, but again, evolutionary rolls of the dice. There are benefits and pluses and minuses to how all of this works, but the left and right hemispheres of the brain roughly, one of them is analytical, detailed, one of them is big picture and conceptual. And I think it's left is analytical, right is that there. So that is why we have different skill sets and temperaments between people. They're more creative people seem to be more right dominant, they're big picture, useless at the detail, and vice versa. But both functions are essential for life there. One of them allows you to focus on your dinner as you're hunting. The other one keeps the wide field view there to make sure that you're not somebody else's dinner. So I'd imagine the left and right is a product of that, the handedness. Tell you some of the officers' medals. And I got scared. I sold the house and moved. What was that one, Eggman? I didn't catch the first part of those. Yeah, I can't see those. I don't know if they're not coming through, or you're having a chat with somebody else who's not showing me those ones. I don't think he's going to lie. He's got a very good reputation. He does, but he's very CIA adjacent. He's very CIA adjacent there. But I don't know where I feel with Hal. I really don't. Like, I want to. He's trolling. What's this, the first part? I don't see what he's saying. Talking about automatic writing. Thank you for the heads up on that one. Now, that is interesting. Around that, it touches on our other peripheral interests. Okay, I didn't see the first part of that, though, sadly. Otherwise, I'd love to read through that. They only look through the dust by using dark matter theory and parameter fit. So that parameter fit there. They throw out all of the dust. It's not a true image, but fitted to a theory. I was going to say, so that, for me, does feel very much like... Again, it's a product of our measurement there. I'm not big on dark matter or dark energy. I mean, dark energy a bit more, but dark matter, I am very bullish that they are just refusing to go back and correct their maths. For me, I'm big on psychology of people, and yeah, it feels to me that they're just being dicks on that front. So I'd be very surprised if dark matter is actually real in the senses there. V as well, coming in with the gifts. Thank you, V. And interesting. Yeah, interesting as well. As what album War of the Worlds is brilliant. The Jeff Wayne War of the Worlds, absolute banger. The Vatican allowed archaeologists to dig below the Vatican, but after they found 3 cone heads, the dig was shut down. I wouldn't be surprised. The elongated skulls apparently are much more prolific. It wasn't just a South American thing. They were much more prolific in our in humanity's culture in old times. There, Miss D there. I'm home. I just sat and watched what I recorded. It turns out to be a Starlink. So Starlink is always awesome to see. If you post it, let us know so we can have a look. Don't mess with the Ouija board. 1 a.m. I was a witness to that once. Who was I telling? I think it was on the podcast telling this story last week. It's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't dabble. I think some people probably get more skills around that, but personally, I don't have the skills at all. So yeah. Disclosure Day, I thought was absolutely abysmal. Felt like an 80s film made now. I can kind of see that. Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. For it there. Just for the fog now, definitely, yeah. And Matt, could you first explain what's happening to Emmanuel Orland? I don't know that name. And for me, the universe is dead there. We have looked, and there's nothing out there. It's utterly silent, and life was a one-off fluke for Earth. So, Ed, I mean, look, yeah, everyone, that's a fair theory, but I think this is the thing. We haven't looked. Why do we think that we have got the technology to see anything in detail? And where we have started to look in small ways, we have got loads of evidence for this. There are loads of stars that are doing things that we don't understand. A lot of that's going to be organic, but also might not be. You know, we've still got a lot of question marks out there. There are so, like the alien radio signals. Oh my God, this one does my bloody head in, because you'll hear scientists go, we've never heard an alien radio signal, which is so disingenuous because we have never confirmed an anomalous signal to be alien. Fair enough, right? But there are lots of signals out there that we do not know. They come in, that we record them, we go, that's interesting, and we can't prove them to be man-made either. You know, they're just sitting in this is really anomalous section. And that means the question is still open. It means there are still candidates. The reason why we haven't confirmed them as alien is not because then they don't meet the mark. The reason is that they don't do the correct tests. It's a limitation. The way SETI is done is not done correctly to get that confirmation. So there is no chance of us getting a scientific confirmation how we currently do SETI. So I feel it's very, very disingenuous of the scientists when they talk like that. And I think then that attitude pervades because you hear it in the background. Where is everybody? You know, the Fermi paradox and stuff like that. And I think it's just total bollocks. It's total bollocks. You know, like to think that we would even have the ability, you know, with only 100 years of radio technology, you know, it's so limiting there. Like, I don't think we've looked at all. You know, in the scheme of things, we really haven't there. But when we have looked in those small 1% ways, we are seeing very, very interesting things for it. Where are all the kids gone there? And Ed, we haven't come close to looking at even space. So yes, what's that? The verification by looking up that officer's name and decorations. But if it's public record, then it doesn't confirm anything, does it? That's the problem. You haven't seen the studies. No, we have seen the studies. This is the thing. You're taking the interpretation of those studies wrong. So what those studies say is based on false data. So do you know what sigma confidence is in science? Sorry, I was getting a bit loud there. Sorry, it's just because I'm quite passionate on the radio side of it. I said I just think it's so flawed. Like, I get why other people do it, but the scientists, do they really wind me up when they do it? Because you know what sigma confidence is in science? It's like, well, we are whatever 3 sigma confident in our results, which is basically, if your assumptions are correct, your outcome is likely to correct, you know, your maths basically, which is not the same thing as being actually correct. Obviously, we don't know that until we measure it. You know, it's got all of the assumptions, and this is the thing. You know, these assumptions are so flawed that they're coming in on, and it just screams bias. Like I find it hilarious that when those signals come in, they don't go, "It's an interesting signal," and we'll have to leave it at that, which is what a non-biased point of view would be. Not saying it's aliens, we don't know, but you know, not going, "Oh, it's human." They don't say that. They come out and say it's probably man-made interference. That isn't a scientific statement. That is based on the opposite of the data, because they have tried in these cases to match it up to known satellites, to repeat, to see if they can cause the effect if there's an issue with the equipment. So they have tested to various degrees, and those tests come back as no, it's not any of those things that you can think of as man-made, but yet they will still say it's probably man-made. That tells you all you need to know. That is not a scientific statement. That is the bias coming out for it there. So Ed, that's not a passionate to you, that's a passionate to the actual scientists involved with that, because it drives my nut like that. That is not what is coming out. Every way of looking had been tried. There's nothing out there. But no, that is the thing. That what we look at, right? Like, imagine, do you expect to look up to the night sky and see aliens? Like, you know, if they're at distant stars, would we expect with our eyes to see their spaceships traveling around in their solar systems? No, we wouldn't, because we can't see that far, can we? Our technology isn't much better than that in the scheme of things. So we can now do some really interesting things with the light coming from those stars. We can kind of see when it dims to detect if there's a planet in orbit, but that's not detail at all. That is not detail. You know, we wouldn't be able to see a ship there. We wouldn't be able to see a mothership coming towards us unless it was planetary sized. You know, but yet we still do see interesting things on those bigger scales, things that we can't explain. So that is the thing. There's just no detail around it at all. With it there, archives online easily. A fourth grade computer geek could check. But then, if that's true, then anything you say that's there for a reference, that you could have got there for there. If we're to start doing skywatching, what would be the best thing to get into? So infrared is meant to be really prominent. It doesn't look as pretty, but that is meant to be very active for the phenomena. So wide field, low light, if you can there. You've read all the studies. I've read a lot of them too, and I disagree with them, because they're all working on the wrong assumption, you know. That is the thing, you know, if that's how science works. If it's on shit foundations, everything built upon that is worthless. There was the Alzheimer's research recently, all built on a study from the 90s that said, because they thought basically it was the plaque build up on the brain, that you know, if we get rid of the plaque, then, you know, that will help Alzheimer's. And there's a study done, tests were done, and the scientists went, look, there seems to be a correlation between this particular drug and eliminating some of the plaque on the brain. Positive results in the tests. Since then, there has been, I don't know how many things, like 19 billion, something like that was spent on further studying this, because it's very important. However many public trials on it like that. Multiple people were testing this and trying to replicate this studies, because it was so exciting. Came out like a month ago. He lied. Just outright lied. There was no positive correlation, no effect. And science didn't know for like nearly 30 years, and 19 billion, and all of those individuals who were suffering with Alzheimer's, given false hope because of the drugs, and let alone the other consequences around all of that, but let alone the opportunity cost, because science put those resources, time and energy into that drug, all based on the foundation of one lie. Now, there are always going to be bad actors, but science isn't good at correcting its mistakes. Ultimately, it tends to, but 30 years, 19 billion, which is probably more than that, to be honest, with knowing drug costs, and then also that isn't a good, like, correction mechanism, you know? And this is the thing. I think the same is true with astrobiology. Why do we think that we'd have an idea for this sort of stuff at all? But yet we are seeing these anomalous things. That is just, you know, it's like when we read the brilliant one. What was the report? It was I think it's the Condon report, where from the US government looking into the phenomena in the early 1950s. You read that report, and it does case studies and all sort of, you know, witness accounts and stuff like that. And the conclusions of each individual one, they go, this is really interesting. We couldn't prove what this was. We need to do further research on this, blah, blah, blah. And you go, well, this sounds like that they think there's something going on. And then the covering, you know, the summary of it was, yeah, nothing to see here, lads. It was all just false sightings. It's like, this was related to a different report. Science, the modern science, when it comes into this, they're so biased around it. They're looking at it the wrong way. Cancer fine, might seem something fly below. Buffy, you're not wrong there. Not as pretty to look at, but it does mean it can give us a sort of a little bit of a clue towards altitude. Oh, that's a tree. Oh, let's go back to that one. Little gap. Let's trace this little gap there. Exactly there. I mean, it's fine to have counterpoints there, but it's clearly ignorant science. No, this is the problem, Ed. It's fine to have another opinion. You can still come back around and say, oh, I don't think. Still, for me, it's not enough evidence or whatever. That's fine. But the problem is this is treating science like a religion because a paper said so. You know, well, it isn't like that. It is just people's best interpretation of the data. It is not a fact. You know, there are measured observations, but their conclusion based on the measured observation. They spent 12 hours pointing at a star, and then go, well, we've spent 12 hours pointing at this star. We think that we would expect to see an alien radio signal coming from this star every 2 hours based on our assessment. We did not see that, so our conclusion is there is no life on that star. But what if they're not considering all the variables there? You know, have they tested, you know, how many stars do they expect to have life around that? Is this the type of star we think most likely to support life? You know, there are just so many variables around. You can chop and change. They can put this out there, and but you see how the conclusion of that data. And then there was the measurement. The measurement was they didn't get any anomalous radio signals, right? And this is just an example one. But the conclusion there, and that is what science is a lot of the time. It's interpretation of a measured result. And the interpretation is not the same as the measured result. The measured result is the fact. The interpretation is the human bit that is, you know, going to be the flawed around it. And that is what people often go, well, science, they've measured, they've tested, so that's fine. It's like, no. They've measured, and then they've interpreted those things based on that one, and that's where we tend to get the flaws with it, because we're treating it wrong there. Christopher as well, coming in with gifts, thank you there. I know the weather. It's like look out the window and never trust a weatherman. Exactly there. And there are we. Where are we? It's 1 a.m. there. Draco does exist there. Look at Santa. Reverse it. Santa, what robe does he wear? Red. I mean, that's one way of doing it. That's a good point, actually, about all of this, is that, you know, we can interpret that data point there very, very differently. Some people can interpret the red and white of Santa and go, well, that's capitalism because Coca-Cola changed his colour. You know, that's one that we've heard. Then go, oh, other people go, this is a sign of, you know, psilocybin in earlier cultures there and the psychedelics and things like that, because, you know, the red and white of the whatever mushroom type that it is there that causes hallucinations, or in this case, it's the version like that. That is very similar to the majority of the papers around that. Symbols of Satan there. Pop over the top, and it starts exactly lethal. Yeah, we're all good here. And again, everybody is fine to be to have different opinions around that sort of thing. But we've got to be honest about what is there. And Chrissy there as well, based on the theoretical warp drive mathematics there, shrinking the ship down to a microscopic scale drops the required negative energy from the mass of an entire planet down to a fraction of a gram. Yeah, totally true. You know, you'd limit the cost, but it's not the only way to do it. It might be the only way for us to do it because we don't have the energy equation, the thing. But if they have figured out the energy, then that wouldn't be an issue there. I wonder, would that be a way that they could test it though, Chrissy? Because that is the limiting, that's why it's just theoretical for us, if we can't get access to entire fucking planet's worth or stars worth of energy, whatever it is. So, could they do that? Could they do lab experiments with that, do you think? Let's get to useful, it takes us to... Exactly, it does. It's always a healthy balance there. No, if or when the time comes, oh god, I just know it's the time, guys. I'm going to have to wrap up very shortly. I'm still 20 minutes behind in the chat, but I will try to get through what we can before we come off there. No, if or when the time comes that they start sending people to Mars, how do you think they would choose their passengers, and who would you go? Interesting. So I think any large-scale population Mars, it would be a commercial interest there. So it would be that you go in there to mine whatever it might be. You know, once you get past the initial science bases and things like that, our most likely candidate is Musk at the second, and you know, he says, you know, you can buy yourself a ticket over there. So yeah, I would go on a holiday. I don't know if I'd want to live there. Maybe if it's like the end of your days sort of thing, then if that was the way of doing it, could do it there. Everything happening on Earth is human creation, whether cartels, drugs, cash, people trafficking. So interesting with that. Yes, but also no. Like we make this mistake a lot. Again, we talk about how conscious we are in our decisions. The processes, the things. A lot of this stuff is an inherent property of our biology. The way we act in a lot of these negative ways. It's like our aggression and fighting wars. It's not just because there's bad people out there. That isn't really how it works. It's, you know, when two groups of people have a disagreement, if they can't arrange that, the bigger the disagreement, it will end up like that. You know, it's the physics of society there, you know. They're just inherent properties there with it. So when to meet who's going? Well, I was hoping to do something for this summer, but yeah. And a bit different with the weather. Definitely have an effect, though. I mean, this is the thing, you know, like how much is I think is the question around all of that there. I honestly, I find myself in two minds with a lot of this there. Is it, you know, the everything is controlled and there's an all massive conspiracy, or yeah, on the other side, they're all bloody incompetent. They can't seem to organise a piss up in a brewery there. So I think there's steering involved. I'd go for the steering, but I don't think they've got as much control as we would think there. And Blue Nose, you come in as well, love it. Where are we down here? Basically, humanity, then egg. Where are we down there? It makes a difference. Totally cool. And how do they control? But no, so there is coercion and control. We do it through culture all of the time, but also it's more just the river flowing. That's what culture does. That's what community does. What society does. It's not necessarily a shadowy group around the table. It's more of just our humanity. And where is the Skywatch happening on Saturday? So it's going to be Clay Hill. Apparently 8 p.m. they're meeting at Clay Hill. The gates around there. Just the old school Skywatchers. I think they did an open invite. So I'm gonna turn up for that one. Hopefully meet a few people there. Laser beams there. Nobody can actually. Oh, we'll be surprised at the effects that things that will set us off. Where are we? Don't need to beg. Only slightly. Where are we down here? And I won't be going to Barcelona for a stag weekend. Oh man, that would have been a good way. Stag though, Barcelona. I've never been to Barcelona. It's gone. I don't think it's as constructed as we think. I think there are other explanations for it there. Chances are I won't be able to, refusing to bring the ferals. It's all right. We'll set up a cage, Kate. It'll be fine. Bring them along. Put them in the cage. It's fine. And Sam, I think you should get a little stand or chair. So Alan can see me on the screen with you. I mean, we can just bring Alan up. It's the whole show. I won't. Alan's not allowed to talk though. He's not allowed the mic. And if you know the system, why aren't you on top? It does. Well, this is the thing, you know, I know that if I want to lift weights, I've got to lift a lot of heavy weights. Doesn't mean I'm muscly, though. You know, you can know things, but the knowing of a structure, I know that, you know, the dean is the head of the university. I've got no chance of becoming a dean myself. But, yeah, it's there. We are much more animal than we think we are. We're not fully. There are obviously differences there, but emotions, those subconscious processes in us are far more responsible. We've been lied to. I think we have been lied and we've been misled, but a lot of it as well is through ignorance. As we're there. Dark Matter is the biggest fake ever. I totally agree with that one. SK, how are you doing? Hello, rest you. Gary Waterman. What's that name ring a bell? Dark matter is a theory and not a fact. Exactly. It may be. Like, I'll keep a smug tax there. I'll keep 5% back. But what I'm seeing, and again, it's not because I don't necessarily understand the science of it. I can't contribute on that front. But what I am quite confident is human behaviour, psychology, sociology, all of those things like that. And I know when something is, people are siloing themselves, and you know I can see those things at play. And therefore, I do not trust what they're telling me, even though they're the ones that actually understand the science. You know, I'm too suspicious. I know when someone's lying, someone's playing games. And there, and it's cloudy. The screen reminds me of Cheech and Chong. It's just Alan outside of his vape. In fact, let's spin it around, see if we're not missing a gap anywhere. Oh, what's that? What's that? No, other way. Is that a gap on the horizon? That's the moon. Look how bright the moon is making that there. Martian Sam Strong there. If your phone, you've been compromised. Well, yeah, basically. Definitely like that, getting used to these things. And there is a rumour going around that Trump said that aliens are in the oceans, but they don't know what they are. Really? And I mean, that's very, very plausible. Very plausible for that. Leave the Ouija alone, 100%. Firing some cracking questions today. They're very good at it. And would betray him. Syntax, I believe there could be we can't even go to the depths without insane preparation, and even then we can't stay for any amount of time. So that Pancake, really interesting point. So I think it works for us when we're talking about the aliens as well. So you know, giant squid, long theorized from sailors talking about giant squid there, but science until very, very recently said bollocks, you're talking out your ass, it's folklore, you know, same as mermaids, all, you know, they were very, very, we've never seen it, you know, we've searched the oceans, right, we've looked in the, we've done all this stuff, never caught. And recently, I think the last couple of years, a dead one washed up, right, and they're like, okay, right, there are giant squids. Okay, right, we'll let you have that one. But we still never observed one in the thing. Well, do you know why we hadn't fucking observed one? Well, because it turns out that when we send all those little probes down there, the unmanned UAVs, all the things like that, they've got big spotlights on them. Those creatures are used to living in the dark. They go spotlight, fuck that, and piss off, don't they? And so they've tested this now with different light frequencies, and you go, you know what, this is a totally different experience when we send an unmanned probe down, because all the fish don't leave, and they can see squid on camera, the giant squid and all this sort of stuff there. And so you think it's exactly that sort of thing that you can't be confident that we're not doing now with the modern world, you know? Like, that is the thing. It's the confidence in which we to say that there isn't something out there. Science can't prove a negative, so we can't ask it to, but science can't also claim it. Paul as well coming in
Thanks,
with the gifts there. Thank you, Vin Allen. And how are you doing, Luca? Find anything else? We've just seen clouds tonight there. It is very possible there. Pun the boards there. Got family through. Really lethal. I don't know. I know I'm not very good at these sorts of things, so I'd imagine I would end up, you know, again. I did one. I didn't do it. I witnessed one being done in school, and what came out of that, like, yeah, no, that I can't even. Yeah, one day I'll find a safe way of telling it without outing some people. Optimus Yorkshire Prime, waiting for your kill. I've got to send you a picture, because you know we're talking about the Scooby-Doo van. I've got a design eventually, X, and I think you'll appreciate it there. 5 Sigma is a result. Yes, so it is. 5 Sigma is 5 is like really high confidence, isn't it? Like, oh my god, this is so going to be correct. But again, it's based on if your assumptions are correct going into it, you know, like the point that you're working from, you know, the sigma is given that, you know, there's nothing else going on here. Have you done the maths around this correctly? So yeah, it's great to know if your workings out are correct, but not if the overall thing is correct, like objectively in the reality. Because if you've not known something to include, you can't know for that. And see 9 Autobots. Decepticons there. Huge octopus are awesome, but octopus are a very weird thing there. What's the prime directive for tonight? Hoping the clouds go away. How are ya? And, oh no, in 1977 there was that 72-second burst of radio waves that was detected. They called the wow signal as an unusual, but the government just brushed it aside. So yeah, I mean, the wow signal still holds strong as a candidate for an alien radio signal. But I thought, because we do our alien radio signal hunts, there we go, on the cloudy nights, looks like that. We search on the hydrogen line, and at the minute we're on the same frequency and the same part of sky where the wow signal came from, which is what we're looking for. They're rare, but I thought doing that, for well, everyone knows the wow signal, there can't be many more. But there's loads. There's loads. And again, the more sensitive our technology gets, the more of these anomalous radio signals that we get. Now, can we say that they're alien? No, we can't with any confidence say they're alien, because we don't get the second detection. If we got a second real-time detection, then we could pretty confidently say, you know, yeah, alien. But we're not in the position to do that. We don't have a second dish looking at the same patch. You know, you need to have two together. So until they start doing that, then they can start saying, oh look, we've looked and they don't look to be alien. But there's loads of these anomalous signals out there that we have no idea what they are. We've got no explanation. So it really is a it's not a genuine way to go about it, I think, the way that they do it at the minute there. Ultra's brain is far advanced. Apparently, isn't it, like, it's all over their body as well? Like, it's a totally different way of thinking about how brains work and stuff there. Taking the missies again. How you doing, Scotlander, as well? Thank you for the gift there. Cuttlefish are up there too, very much so. Not to order the calamari. So 9 brains and 3 hearts. There was something on them that's really weird. Like, apparently that's the closest to true alien life we can get here on Earth. Some people say actual alien, but again, it's so different as an intelligent biology that we haven't got our heads around it. Someone's having a barbecue. I mean, it looks like daylight over there, doesn't it? That's how much light this lends it. That is the moonlight behind the trees. Find a dinner plate, crabs on Venus. Oh, Kate, yeah. So I did. Was it you or was it Ayat put the images in that people talk about them potentially being crustaceans seen on the Venetian surface? Which, hey, look, if life's going to survive there, if it had time to adjust, maybe it could. But I couldn't see it in the images there. So much to learn. That is the thing. There's always so much to learn. Electrical signals have been detected. A similar thing with trees. Yeah, trees, exactly. Again, we lived with them all of this time, and yet we're seeing them in a different light. Seeing them as, you know, more to and fro intelligence there. Seems unnecessary. Didn't say they're big ones, though. Mushrooms have sound waves. Mushrooms can control the weather to certain degrees, apparently, as well. They can release certain things into the atmosphere and encourage rain. So it's that two-way. They're not just passive sitting there absorbing it. Aliens got the neighbours' pets on the grill. Yeah, it was a spate of cattle mutilations. We have actually had a lot of animal activity related to the phenomena in this town. Not for a while, though. Aliens wouldn't eat my dog there, but would the dog eat the aliens? And crabs are smelly and should remain in the sea. Well, that I'll give you. What crabs have you got there, X? And the Philippines would, though. Oh, you can hear rhubarb growing in the shed in candlelight. I've heard about that. He makes weird noises. The sky looks orange. Well, now it's clearing a bit. Yeah, we're getting the bright. But look how bright it is. There. Pretend I like seafood. I don't. No, I've never tried. Well, no, I've tried. I've had fish fingers. I'm not. I just something about seafood freaks me out. The dark side of the sky, like the pea soup. There, I play trance music on TikTok. No, that sounds good. Why are you on TikTok? I am. Then, would you recognise your name on that? And Rodney, real is what you can hear, see, and touch. Everything else is a maybe. So even that, though, if we get into the quantum world, that gets all thrown up into the air as well, doesn't it? But I think you're right in the principle of that, which is that, you know, we can only say certain things for sure, and then everything else is a guess. It's an informed guess, it's interpretation, it's our best guess, and we've got to be okay with that. You know, like, I think science does fantastic work. What we do know about the universe, and by the word know, I mean our best guess at the minute, exactly like that, I think is fantastic. And I don't even know how you clever bastards have figured out all of this just from the maths, and it seems to be somewhat functional, your understandings. But we can't also hold on to it as a dogmatic truth. This is where we need to find the more of the middle ground with it. You know, we need to just be able to go, you're clever, guys, and that's a great, good theory, and we can use it in our day-to-day life until we see its flaws, but we also can't put it on this pedestal, you know, as to there. Going off from my rants there. And apparently an octopus wouldn't eat your dog. Wouldn't it? Have you asked? Let's try. That's our next live test. Got a sunflower on his head. No idea. Santa came from the fly mushroom. The fly agaric mushroom? I've not even heard that name for that one now. The sunflower. Sunflowers freak me out as well. Able to like the post right now? No, it would be fine there. Santa is saying possibly. The price must be paid. Quantum inequalities there. Quantum mechanics allows tiny dips into a negative energy, like the Casimir effect, but it enforces a strict rule. Well, I think with there are realms. There is parts that we have started to flesh out in the quantum world, but I think it's so. We've only just dipped our toe in there, you know, like, I don't think we could have confidence really on a lot of it. It's a very, very strange thing as well, but there seems to have been some research in that sort of area back into the 50s that went quiet. The Thomas Townsend Brown stuff could, because the Casimir effect is an interesting one. A lot of things get written off as just that, but there are people that are coming through now in this electrostatics area that seem to be saying, right, the Casimir effect is not the only explanation for what's going on. There does seem to be certain stuff, certain exceptions to it. See, your parents lied. So is this where the language, because for me, a lie is a conscious choice to manipulate, you know, like, whereas I think a lot of our parents peddle what their parents said, which peddle what their parents said, which peddle what their parents said, you know, and it might not be the objective truth, but it is also not like the intentional lie there. Sometimes it is intentional. Like, does a parent, is it a lie when a parent says to you, you know, all lying is bad as a child? You know, it's a very simplified statement, and it's functionally true for the child because you need the child to tell the truth. As an adult, you're responsible for its decisions. But as it gets older, sometimes there are excuses when lying, you know, could be the better option in the situation. I never think it's ideal, but, you know, it gets a little bit more complicated, doesn't it? So is that a lie or is it a functional truth? Like, I think we need to get away from these binary yes or no's, you know, and truth or lie. That you can ultimately collapse something down into a truth or a lie or a good or a bad, but I don't think I think you can only do that after the event. If you're looking at something, trying to make a decision, you've got to be more complex than that because it just doesn't do it there. Well, yeah. And FPL there, the French eat snails because they don't like a fast food. 10 points, that fat one there. And if you have an association center and Satan, it's the stance on both. Ooh, interesting. And if someone could quickly untangle the quantum entanglement, that could help with the creation of teleportation. Teleport would definitely help with a long distance travel. Hey, it's an angle. It's an angle with this stuff. But yeah, I mean, how it all works. What are the ultimate rules? We've got a guy. But a lot of these things are functional. It is. Let me turn down the brightness there because that just looks like daylight. You know, they give us a way to interact, like Newtonian physics and stuff was functional until we got good telescopes. You know, it worked to the best of our ability until our technology expands on. There. And where are we? Our Night Angel there as well. Janie's off too. I'm not seeing those ones coming up there. I once had a snail stuck on my passenger window for 18 miles. What an adventure. I saw somebody put a snail on a drone once. The tagline was, don't say it's cruel until you've seen his face. And there's another camera on the snail, and he was riding this drone around. His antennae were out. He loved it. There, wasn't scared at all. Nice views. This, yeah, I mean, it's clearing up a little bit now, which is a shame because we've got to come off. Pet crates for the kids, yeah. I've got them on order. They did lie to us, though. Santa never came down the chimney. I mean, yeah, is it a lie? Is it misinterpretation? Is it a story? Because is a story a lie? You know, like, this is what I think is it gets like more confusing. I'm not saying it's not, you know, but I'm thinking like this is when you start pulling it apart and the language we're using there. Actually, I'm surprised. 1 a.m. I'm surprised that you're not getting filtered, because we set up anti-Santa stuff to get filtered out on the mod stuff. Because when we were doing our Santa Tracker Night Watch, we kept having all these miserable bastards coming in, spoiling all the kids having a nice time. Definitely a bit feral there, Banket Feral. Catch you later there, bonus. It's complex. I think a lot of these things are. Government took away our rights to choose how we feel, to scaremonger from the start. Increasingly so over time. Increasingly so. And I think that just goes on indefinitely. You know, it is scary, and I think they are doing it. What's that? A Mars there. Someone to zero issued from Kirkland. Oh, Sand Operating Manual. I think we haven't come to that one yet, but it is due for one of our deep dives. Because I think that's part of the MJ12 stuff there. Where are we down here? And given the accelerated expansion of the universe, will distant alien civilizations eventually be pushed beyond our observable horizon, permanently changing any chance of contact? DJ, sorry. That is, as far as we understand it, that looks to be totally true. That, you know, this theory that, you know, a civilization will at some point look up to their night sky and never see another star there. We're very similar to animals, especially in behaviour, and it's known as a comparative psychology. Yeah, I think we are more similar than we like to admit with that. I mean, just think of it yourself. Like, think back to going food shopping when you're hungry versus food shopping when you're not hungry, right? That tells you all you need to know about how much we run on the subconscious and hormones and things like that, and how much of our decisions are affected by those things. It's only recently seen the squid being hunted as well. Ooh, I've not seen that one. The light of deception there, X. And you're associating the modern Santa or the European horrifying character. Oh, that one as well, yeah. Okay, that I could see through there. And Gromy, why does it look like daylight at 12 there? So the moon is up just below the tree there. So that is why. Because this is the only patch of sky that's clear at the moment. Modern society has been deliberately deceived about religious and biblical matters. I could see that. Did not know me wearing the Yorkshire Prime kilt would have the light. That light is coming from Agent X bending over just over the horizon. Not surprising there. And living lights have daylight on the screen. You're sure you didn't switch the timeline? Yeah, no, this is a good example. And I've turned the brightness down, but look, we'll turn it up to where it was for, like, you know, when we started the stream, guys. Like, oh, sorry, a bit bright there. That is the settings, actually a little bit like there. That is the settings that we had it on beginning of the stream, seeing all the stars. But that shows you how much light this lens lets in. And to me, it's pitch black outside. Even where that moon is on the horizon, I can't see that being really any brighter from inside the house here. So that shows you how much light this lens lets in. So then, you know, we're seeing all those faint stars that you can't normally see with your eye. But anyway, I'm going to turn that back down because, yeah, starting to mess up the circadian rhythm. Not that I've got a stable one. There. And you know what they say about assumptions, though? Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. I think we have to guess. We have to operate on faith and belief, don't we, to a certain degree. We just need to recognise that's what we're doing, I think. But Satan isn't strictly a character in the Bible. The bearer of light. I mean, this is beyond my understanding of it there. Latin for light bringer or morning star, referring to the planet Venus when it appears. But very interesting. I have heard some very interesting takes on you know, angels and demons on all of this, but that'll be for another night there. Just trying to catch up with the chat. I think I am going to have to skip ahead, guys, because I'm going to have to skip all your ones there, because yeah, I'm going to skip to the bottom now because I've got to come off. Sorry, guys. Anyway, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. Sorry we didn't make it. It was only 10 minutes we missed out on that, so we did quite well. But thank you all for hanging around with us. And we'll be on tomorrow night. What's the weather looking like tomorrow? Typically it clears up, doesn't it, just as we come off fucking weather. Right, let's just refresh. So it is going to... Yeah, all right. At the minute, tomorrow night ain't actually looking as clear as we'd like. It's possible. Keep your eyes out. It might be a Skywatch. It might not be. It might be an alien radio signal hunt. Or it might take the day off there. But make sure you're following and subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you are, so you'll get those notifications when we go live. Thank you all for hanging out with us. You're awesome. Appreciate you all your support, whether it's asking questions, watching us quietly, sharing your knowledge and your opinions and all the matter there. We do appreciate you there. And yeah, we should be on tomorrow night. Hopefully it will clear up and sort itself out there. Catch you all, yeah, hopefully tomorrow night. Bye-bye.